Chapter 9:39. I heard that he's as handsome as a god. Really? It's true. Why are you lying? He has a good figure, good looks, and a lot of money. It's simply impossible for him to exist in reality. He's clearly right in front of you, yet he's so far away that you can't reach him. So, those who have the chance to get close should hurry. CEO Tang. The person who was talking energetically turned his head and saw Tang Bao standing not far away, listening to him expressionlessly. CEO Tang. CEO Tang. The others also saw Tang Bao and stood up to greet him. Tang Bao suppressed the surging emotions in his heart and walked closer to them. With a smile on his face, he asked, "What were you guys talking about just now? The young master from next door?" These female employees thought that Tang Bao also liked to listen to such gossip. After all, they were in this line of work, so it was inevitable for them to gossip. One of them immediately said, "That's right. The woman at the tea front desk told me. If it wasn't for the tea spreading the news everywhere, I don't think she would have known." "It might be fake," Tang Bao said. "It can't be." The front desk said that the young master and the woman were in the restaurant at that time. They seemed to be eating together. Then, as they were eating, they took off their clothes. There were two people who were collecting the cutlery. They saw it. Tang Bao gritted his teeth. "Good for you, Di Hao Yin. I'm so annoyed here. And you actually turn around and look for another woman? Fine. Then go and look for more." Tang Bao angrily turned around and hurried back to his office. The few people just now looked at each other. Did we say anything wrong? Why do I feel that CEO Tang doesn't seem very happy? His face is still a little pale. Could it be that his work outside isn't going well, so he's in a bad mood? This is the first time I've seen CEO Tang in a bad mood. In the past, he was always in a good mood and radiant. After Tang Bao returned to his office, he didn't like everything he saw. When he thought of the rumor about Di Hao Yin, his anger rose even more. Thinking of the bad things that had happened to her, she collapsed weakly on the sofa. She couldn't wait to fall asleep. But how could she sleep? Her eyes were tired, but her mind was extremely clear. Was a rumor about Di Hao Yin true? If it wasn't, why would there be such a rumor? Did they see Di Hao Yin and a woman in the restaurant? To say that Tang Bao wanted to calmly suppress this matter in his heart seemed to be an impossible thing to do, unless Di Hao Yin had nothing to do with her. However, Di Hao Yin, how could such a thing happen to you? It really is. His entire chest felt sore, as if a large barrel of sulfuric acid had been poured into it. The pain was unbearable. Tang Bao lazily sat up and fumbled for his phone. He saw that the call was from Wang Mi Lai. "Hello." Tang Bao continued to lie on the sofa and answered the phone. "Are you that busy? Why don't you come and take a look at your company?" Wang Milei said unhappily. "What company? That company isn't mine now." "Why isn't it yours? I'm working for you." Tang Bao thought to herself, that's not wrong. Di Hao Yin is working for me now, but he's so carefree. He even looks for women in the company. What does he take her for? "Let's have dinner together tonight. Just the two of us." "Yeah, who else do you want? Don't call me young master. I'm afraid I won't dare to eat freely. I still have to eat supper when I get home." "Okay, let's have dinner together." Tang Bao thought that it had been a long time since she had dinner with Wang Milei. Moreover, going back to the castle for dinner would definitely be very stifling. She wasn't in the mood at all. Therefore, after the call with Wang Milei, she called the castle and told him that she wouldn't be going back for dinner. She even reminded him not to forget to pick up the child. Tang Bao left the studio before 5 o'clock. She met Wang Milei at the restaurant. "You came earlier than me?" Tang Bao asked as he sat down. "I was afraid that you would wait for too long. Are you hungry now? It seems like we're the only ones eating." "We came quite early." Tang Bao looked around and said. "Then let's chat for a while before we order." "Okay, how's work recently? Is it good?" Tang Bao asked. "It's pretty good. It's good at work. Are you going to worry about your marriage next? Auntie and uncle don't talk about you every day?" Tang Bao asked curiously. No. Tang Bao didn't seem to believe it. "Let me tell you, I realized that Jew is really cold on the outside. He's especially cold in front of me, but in front of my parents, as long as he speaks, he can make my parents happy. Even I, their biological daughter, can't do it." Wang Milei didn't seem to believe it either. Is that so? I couldn't tell. This is the greatness of love. Tang Bao sighed. Wan Malay was a little embarrassed. A married young woman really doesn't know what shame is. Can you be a little more shameless? Don't be embarrassed in front of me. Hey, can I even pretend? Wan Malay slammed the table. Be careful of being struck by lightning. Tang Bao rolled his eyes. Wan Malay looked at Tang Bao's expression as he drank his tea, then leaned forward. How have you and the young master been recently? When are you planning to have a third child? Are you kidding me? Tang Bao looked at her in a daze. What? It's not like we can't afford to raise them. Why not? What does this have to do with being able to afford to raise them? I don't want to have so many. She had 3 children now. She still wanted to have more? Forget it. So many children. Just thinking about it made her scalp tingle. Don't tell me there's something between you and the young master. Why do you ask? Tang Bao looked at Wan Malay over the rim of his cup. Otherwise, why don't we have a third child? Wan Malay said matter-of-factly. Tang Bao slowly put down his cup and looked at Wan Malay calmly. Wan Malay felt uncomfortable all over. What are you looking at? It's amazing. Now that I'm with Ju, I've become well-informed. What's wrong? Are you sure you don't want to tell the truth? If you don't say it, I won't eat anymore. I'm leaving now. Tang Bao pretended to leave. Wan Malay quickly held her back. Okay. I can't hide it from you. But what's going on between you and the young master? How can you quarrel and have a cold war? Doesn't the young master love you very much? Love you very much? How can you tell? I'm not blind. I think he's the one who's having so much fun outside. Can you tell me why you're angry? What do you mean I'm angry? Isn't it him? Why did I hear Ju say that you don't care about the young master? Why should I care about him? I get angry just by looking at him. Wan Malay was slightly stunned, then she giggled. Look at you, showing off your love again. Chapter 940. That's what a friend should say. But, can there be no buts? Otherwise, I'll regret the last thing I said. No, the two of you have been through so much, yet you're still arguing. I don't think you should. I just want to ask, is the situation serious? Tang Bao was silent. Was it serious? She felt that it was quite serious. She still didn't know what was going on between Di Hao Yin and the woman in the company. Also, she didn't know anything about the middle-aged woman either. She already felt that she was about to be defeated. Was this considered not serious? It seems very serious. I know Ju has good intentions and wants you to set us up. Thank you for your kindness, but I'm really not in the mood right now. Not in the mood? What's the matter? What matter? If Tang Bao could say it, he wouldn't be so conflicted. You can't even tell me? Tang Bao looked up at her. I could say it in the past, but not now. Because Ju, he's in cahoots. Don't worry, I'll take care of my matters. It's just a matter of time. Then don't you think that Ju asked me to look for you because he was instructed by the young master? Wan Malay asked. I don't want to think about it anymore. Wan Malay looked at Tang Bao's gloomy expression. She thought to herself, what kind of serious matter is this? Ju only said that it was caused by Tang Bao hanging up on Di Hao Yin. How could they have such a cold war? How much sand could not melt in the eyes of these two people? Most importantly, how could the young master, who is so steady and profound, have a cold war over such a small matter? Could there be something that Ju didn't know about? She felt that things weren't that simple. After meeting and eating, Tang Bao sent Wan Malay back in his car. Wan Malay watched Tang Bao's car disappear into the traffic before calling Ju. I can't get anything out of her. Are you sure it's just a matter of hanging up? What did she say? I feel that the situation is quite serious. Did the young master do something he shouldn't have done? Wan Malay asked suspiciously. Ju was stunned. Things that shouldn't be done? Could it be the accident that happened in tea today? But before that accident, the two of them were already in a cold war. Is that true? Wan Malay was certain when he saw Ju remain silent. No, why aren't you talking? I'm thinking back. Let me tell you, if the situation wasn't serious, Tang Bao would definitely tell me. But he didn't want to tell me at all, which means that something more serious must have happened. I'm telling you, Ju, you'd better tell young Master D. Otherwise, if the Tang Bao really gets into a fight with him, his wife might run away again. Juan Malay's words vibrated out of the hands-free phone and echoed in the huge study room. Di Hao Yin sat on the black chair. His face was tense, and his black eyes were sharp and suppressing his panic. He Ju silently hung up the phone and continued. Young Master D, could it be that young Madam found out about what happened in tea today? Di Hao Yin's heart skipped a beat. Who the hell spread the news? He quickly took out his phone and called Tang Bao without caring about his pride. He had long changed from a cold war to a desperate desire to hear Tang Bao's voice and see her. He Ju's mouth twitched, and he turned around and left. Tang Bao sat in the car on the way back. She looked at the dark night outside the car window expressionlessly. Occasionally, the light from the street lamps refracted in and swept across her depressed expression. Then, the phone in her briefcase rang. She was about to get her briefcase. The car made a sudden turn, and Tang Bao fell to the side. The front of the car hit the safety barrier directly. With a bang, the car came to a stop. Tang Bao's head hit the back of the seat in front of her due to inertia. She felt dizzy and supported her head with her hand. President Tang, are you okay? Tang Bao looked up and let go of her head. The red on her forehead was not broken. What's going on? The driver turned around. Tang Bao looked over and saw a woman walking toward the car. At first, she could not see clearly. When the light from the street lamps shone on the woman's face, Tang Bao's face changed. She was even paler than the woman who suddenly appeared. The middle-aged woman walked to the front of the car and knelt down. The driver had never seen such a thing before. He quickly got out of the car and walked to the woman. Miss, what's wrong with you? I was driving properly, but you rushed over and now you're kneeling in the car. If you have something to say, just say it. I just want to talk to the person inside. The middle-aged woman's eyes were like stagnant water. The person inside? The driver took a look inside the car. Tang Bao was sitting in the back seat of the car. Her face was pale, but she did not think of getting out of the car to take a look. If it's a traffic accident, you can just pay the money. What do you want to talk about? Are you trying to scam me? Let me tell you, my boss is not someone who will be scammed. If you continue to do this, I will call the police. Tang Bao's driver was not Di Hao Yin's man. Tang Bao did not want to be controlled by Di Hao Yin too much, so he found a driver himself. However, the driver was not stupid. The woman in the car had a powerful background. This was all thanks to the king of D City behind her. Not to mention a scammer. Even a robber would have to think twice before committing a robbery. Call the police? I'm just afraid that the woman inside will not agree. The driver ignored her and went forward to pull the woman. However, the middle-aged woman refused to get up. She knelt there stiffly. Although the driver was a man and was stronger than her, he was afraid that he would hurt her if he used too much force. If that happened, he would be accused of being unreasonable. You don't know what's good for you. The driver shook off his hand and turned to inform Tang Bao. After getting into the car, the driver said, President Tang, this person is unmoved by force or persuasion. Why don't I call the police? What did she ask for? She said that she wants to talk to you. There's nothing to talk about with this kind of person. She must be trying to extort money. I don't think we should bother with her. Tang Bao sat there motionlessly and looked at the kneeling woman through the windshield. The headlights shone on the woman's body. She looked like a lifeless, white statue. Tang Bao's heart suddenly sank. She seemed to know what this woman wanted, but she was unwilling to dig. It was as if once she dug, she would be drenched in blood. The phone in the briefcase did not stop ringing. At this moment, Tang Bao was not in the mood to care about the phone. It was as if it didn't exist in her ears, as if she didn't hear it at all. The driver looked on his seat. He did not know if he should remind her that her phone was ringing. However, he did not dare to make a sound when he saw Tang Bao's expression. Tang Bao did not say anything. He pushed the door open and got out of the car. The driver quickly chased after him. President Tang, don't get out of the car. Who knows if this person is a good person? What's she trying to do? Chapter 941. It's okay. She won't take my life. Tang Bao walked toward the woman in front of him. The headlights illuminated her thoroughly. Her face seemed to be even more haggard than the last time they met. From beginning to end, she had the image of a country woman. It didn't look like she was faking it. The hardships on her face could be seen clearly. When Tang Bao stood in front of her, the middle-aged woman slowly raised her head and looked at Tang Bao. Tang Bao didn't like the look in her eyes. It would have been fine if it was fierce, resentful, or angry, but she was begging. Begging for what? She had nothing to give her. If you want to talk to me, stand up, Tang Bao said. The middle-aged woman seemed to hesitate for a moment before standing up. She wasn't as tall as Tang Bao, and she was on the plump side. She dressed and looked like a village woman. Tang Bao really wanted to know where this person came from. Tang Bao looked to the side and said, "Let's find a place to sit down and talk." The middle-aged woman nodded. Tang Bao said to the driver, "See if the car can still be driven. If it can't, find someone to fix it." "Yes." Tang Bao turned and walked into the coffee shop next door, ignoring the woman behind her. She knew that this woman had something to say to her, so she didn't have to worry that she wouldn't follow her. After entering the coffee shop, she found a seat by the window and sat down. The night outside shrouded the city streets, but the scenery in front of her was beautifully embellished. Tang Bao looked at it for a moment before retracting her gaze and looking at the woman sitting in front of her. She was very unfamiliar. Only unfamiliar. Even if her family didn't live a rich life in the past, they wouldn't be as poor as she was. When the coffee was served, the woman seemed to have never seen it before. She stared at the liquid in the cup as if she didn't know if she could drink it. Tang Bao ignored her and said, "Just say what you want to say. You should know why I'm here." "Sorry, I don't know anything. I'm a complete stranger to you," Tang Bao said expressionlessly. "No, you're a stranger to me, but you're raising my daughter." "Are you joking? Would I raise your daughter? It's not like I can't have children. Why should I raise your daughter?" Tang Bao sneered. "I'm sorry, that's not what I meant. I can't blame you. I'm the one who lost my daughter. I'm very grateful that you raised her. If it weren't for you, I don't know what my daughter would be like," Pan Yuehua said with tears in her eyes. He couldn't help but wipe his face with his hand. "I sympathize with you for losing your daughter, but I still want to know what happened. I'm sure you can tell that I'm not from this city. I'm not even from the suburbs. I live in a small village far away. It was very backward and poor. The first time I came to Imperial City, I was shocked. I felt like the people here were from a different world. But in order to find my daughter, I'm going all out. In our world, the concept of favoring males over females is very strong, to the point that we can disregard everything. After I got married, my first child was a daughter. My parents-in-law gave me the cold shoulder, but they didn't express their resentment. I also know that only after I got married and gave birth to a son would I have the value of being a daughter-in-law. So, I continued to give birth. But my second and third children were all daughters. At that time, my parents-in-law's attitude toward me was already bad. But I had no choice and continued to give birth quietly. Until my sixth child, it was still a daughter. In other words, you gave birth to 6 daughters in a row. Tang Bao asked in disbelief. Yes. Should Tang Bao be amazed that this woman was too good at giving birth, but had no luck with sons? Or should she be glad that her father didn't have the concept of favoring males over females? Otherwise, if she gave birth to a daughter, wouldn't she have to give birth until she had a son? But in the end, the pitiful ones were the women. It was not that Tang Bao looked down on her mother. With her mother's body, she definitely couldn't give birth to so many children. Looking at this woman's face, she must be much older than her actual age. How could she not be old after giving birth to so many children? And did you give birth to a son in the end? Tang Bao couldn't help but be curious. No. How tragic. You know, my place is very poor. I gave birth to 6 children in a row, and my family was so poor that we didn't have anything to eat. Even food and clothing were problems. Tang Bao thought that this was the feudal concept that the poorer one was, the more one had to give birth, and the more one had to give birth, the poorer one would be. So, when the 6th child was a daughter, the family really had no rice to eat, so my husband wanted to sell the 6th daughter. Of course, I didn't agree, but I had no choice. At that time, I was pregnant again. My husband said that if I couldn't give birth to a son, he would divorce me. But the last child was still a daughter. I didn't want to get a divorce, so my husband got together with another woman. That daughter also got pregnant, but she didn't give birth to a son. So, later on, my husband mentioned divorce less often. But when I looked at my daughter, I would always think of the daughter who was sold. I felt guilty and had nightmares at night. I always dreamed of bad things. So I went to look for my sixth daughter behind my husband's back, but I heard that those who sold children had lost my daughter. I had lost all hope, but one day, someone from the same village told me that my daughter had been found. I followed that person's words and found the orphanage in the town. But the director of the orphanage in the town said that the child had been taken away. After I begged, the director was finally willing to tell me that the person who took the child away was from the D family. So I found D Junbai. D Junbai said that he only had a son and only his elder brother had a daughter. Then I saw the little girl at the entrance of the kindergarten. The moment I laid eyes on the child, I knew it was the child I'd been sold for. That child followed you into the car, and I remembered you. Tang Bao felt that it was very ironic after listening to such a long story. Are you making up a story? What I said is true. When my daughter was born, there was a red birthmark on her inner thigh. It was blood red, and it was as big as a fingernail. Tang Bao's heart suddenly sank. It was as if a huge rock had suddenly pressed down on her chest, making it difficult for her to breathe. But in the next moment, she endured the discomfort and said without any expression on her face, "I'm really sorry. My daughter doesn't have a single birthmark on her body. Not to mention this birthmark that you're talking about. I think you must have made a mistake. If you have the time to pester me, why don't you go look for your biological daughter again?" "No, I'm very sure that that's my daughter." Chapter 942. Then it must have been swapped. You can even say that it was swapped. Pan Yuehua's eyes flashed, and she said with certainty, "If you don't believe me, I can do a paternity test. As long as it's not my child, I'll give up immediately." A paternity test was the best weapon. Whether it was true or not, it could be seen immediately. Tang Bao looked at this woman expressionlessly and coldly. Was she so sure that Xiao Bao was her daughter? Who gave her such confidence? The driver was waiting for Tang Bao outside the shop. Not long after Tang Bao went in, he received a call from Di Haoyan. The cold aura that came from the phone almost scared him to the point that his legs turned to jelly. It was just 2 words. "Where is she?" "Young master." The car hit the guardrail, but she's fine, the driver said with a trembling voice. "What did you say?" Di Haoyan rushed out of the study. His face was so gloomy that everyone in the castle didn't dare to breathe. The driver suspected that Di Haoyan didn't hear him clearly and said, "President Tang is fine." "Hit the guardrail? She won't be scared." Di Haoyan was furious. The driver was so scared that he almost dropped his phone. He didn't dare to speak. He held the phone carefully as if he was holding his life. "Send me the address," Di Haoyan said and hung up the phone. The murderous aura around him could cause any living thing to suffer. "You wanted to take my child to do a paternity test with someone who appeared out of nowhere? Do you know who I am? What right do you have to say such things? There are laws in this world," Pan Yuehua said agitatedly. For some reason, when this woman said such words, Tang Bao thought of the evil King Di Haoyan. Di Haoyan had told her that he was the law and could cover the sky with one hand. Therefore, Tang Bao felt the same way now. "You're right. There are laws in this world. Unfortunately, that's the truth and not a lie." "I'm not lying. Your daughter is my daughter." Tang Bao could not bear to hear such words. His face immediately darkened and became unusually cold. "You also have a child. You should know how pitiful a mother can be. If one day your child was taken away by someone else, wouldn't you be in pain? Don't you feel guilty? Pain?" Tang Bao's heart churned, and he felt a little uncomfortable. Of course it was painful. Her son Di Bowling was in Di Junbai's arms. He was right in front of her, but she couldn't make him call her mommy or Di Haoyan daddy. He couldn't come back to this family. However, wasn't it cruel to leave his own daughter by his side, a kind of pain that made him wish he was dead? As for guilt, why should she feel guilty? Her daughter was hers. She would not let her heart be burdened by moral shackles. He was afraid that he would have to disappoint this woman. "You're right. I do feel pain and guilt. The premise is that my daughter has nothing to do with you." Tang Bao's expression was as calm as usual. He looked at the woman opposite him calmly. Pan Yuehua couldn't believe that this person was so cold-hearted. That's enough. I've already made it very clear to you. Whether my daughter is mine or not, I'm the one who knows it best. If you really love your daughter, you should find the right one and not the wrong one. However, I think that even if your daughter goes back, she will be wondering why you abandoned her, right? No, it was my husband who sold her, not me. Pan Yuehua was agitated. Not you? Are you sure you don't have any selfish motives? Of course, that's your family's business. It has nothing to do with me. Please don't appear in front of me again. Otherwise, I won't be polite to you. Tang Bao's last words were very threatening. She believed that this woman could understand. The woman left. Tang Bao was still sitting alone in his seat. He lowered his head and stirred his coffee with a spoon. She didn't like to drink coffee. Whether it was in the past or now, she had always liked sweet drinks. Why did she order a cup of coffee? She was so direct. Perhaps it was to show that she had a purpose and to express her calmness. Pan Yuehua left in front of him, but her eyes were filled with determination. This made Tang Bao absent-minded and distracted. How should this matter be resolved? If it blew up, everyone would know about it. If it didn't blow up, he would hide it. Tang Bao pondered. What was Di Junbai's role in this matter? How could Pan Yuehua find him so easily? She said that Di Junbai said that the one who had a daughter was his elder brother. Was this to lead the clues to Xiao Bao? If it was in the past, Tang Bao wouldn't have thought so much and wouldn't have thought of Di Junbai in that way. But now, she had a new understanding of Di Junbai. The light in front of them suddenly dimmed, as if it was covered by a thick layer of shadow. The air vibrated as it was invaded, and it was terrifying. It carried with it a rush of breath and hostility. Tang Bao didn't need to look up to know who this familiar feeling was. She steadied her emotions and looked up. She met Di Haoyan's dark eyes that were as cold as the winter moon. There seemed to be some nervousness in his eyes. Tang Bao looked out of the window and said, "The car hit the guardrail. It could be driven, but it needs to be repaired." She had told the driver not to say anything that he shouldn't say. It wasn't that she wanted to hide it from Di Haoyan. She wanted to tell him, but when she thought of what Di Haoyan had done, she really didn't want to say anything more to him. She could solve this matter herself. "Let's go back." Tang Bao stood up and was about to walk past Di Haoyan. However, a grip tightened around her wrist, and she was pulled in front of Di Haoyan. She fell into his strong embrace. Tang Bao's body stiffened. She could feel the strength of Di Haoyan's arms around her. However, she wasn't very happy. Instead, she struggled slightly and broke away from Di Haoyan's embrace. She stood there and said, "Let's go back." Without looking at the expression on Di Haoyan's face, she walked out of the shop. After walking out, she saw Di Haoyan's car. However, she didn't get in. Instead, she got into the broken car that she had hit. After getting in, she pressed the central lock. Di Haoyan tried to open the car door, but he couldn't. His face darkened. He knocked on the car window. "You want me to smash the car window?" The soundproofing was naturally not as good as Di Haoyan's car. Tang Bao could hear it clearly. Even if the soundproofing was good, how could a window block out Di Haoyan's extremely cold voice? Tang Bao lowered the car window, looked at him, and asked, "Aren't you going home?" Di Haoyan reached in and unlocked the central lock. He pulled open the car door and pulled Tang Bao out. "What are you doing?" "MMPH." Tang Bao's angry voice was swallowed by Di Haoyan's thin lips. Chapter 943. However, the more she struggled, the more powerless she became as he pressed her against the car. When all the strength in his body was almost exhausted, Di Haoyan panted heavily and left her mouth. He stared at her intently with his dark eyes, and his deep and rough voice seemed to be close to her lips as he said, "Don't be angry. I apologize. It's my fault. Hubby can't stand being alone in an empty room." Tang Bao's stomach clenched. What was this person talking about? What did he mean by being alone in an empty room? Wasn't this what a woman should say? "You'll be alone in an empty room?" I don't think so. T's incident was an accident. I was thinking about you with my eyes closed, so I didn't notice anyone approaching. But she didn't even touch me before I chased her out. I'm yours. Don't even think about it. Di Haoyan rubbed his nose against her face. His thin lips captured Tang Bao's mouth from time to time, to ease the pain of missing her for the past 2 days. Tang Bao listened to Di Haoyan's explanation, but her heart was calm. She didn't know if she should believe what he said. If it was before, she might have scolded him coquettishly and be angry, right? But now, she didn't have the energy to do that. She had something on her mind. She only said softly, "Go back. You don't believe me? I'm telling the truth." Di Haoyan looked down at her. "Can you stop bothering me?" Tang Bao asked irritably. When their eyes met, Tang Bao could feel Di Haoyan's deep gaze surging with a sharp luster. Tang Bao quickly averted her gaze. Not only that, she also wanted to get away from Di Haoyan's deep gaze. However, just as she moved, her wrist was clamped down. Di Haoyan turned around and pulled her toward his car. After they got into the car, there was a moment of silence and a strong sense of oppression. This was unusual because it came from Di Haoyan's aura. Tang Bao did not look at him either. He just kept looking out of the car window, as if there was some beautiful scenery outside. In fact, there wasn't much expression on her face. If there was any, it was a kind of nervousness and uneasiness. After all, it took guts to put on airs in front of Di Haoyan. The thoughtful Di Haoyan felt that Tang Bao was a little strange. After thinking about it, only T's case could be considered serious. After all, if this kind of thing happened to Tang Bao, he might be furious on the spot and kill that man. That woman is an employee of the secretarial department. It was my negligence when she entered the restaurant, but when it happened, I had already asked her to leave. This kind of thing won't happen again. Tang Bao's heart trembled slightly. It was as if a hand was gently caressing it, causing her to throb uncontrollably. Di Haoyan had already explained it once. Why did he have to repeat it? It made her feel as if she was being unreasonable. In a daze, she was hugged. She sat directly on Di Haoyan's sturdy thighs. The scorching heat immediately penetrated the fabric of his clothes and transmitted to her domineeringly. "What are you doing? Put me down. I'm not angry anymore. Hubby apologizes to you." How do I know if you're telling the truth?" Di Haoyan's dark eyes narrowed slightly as he stared at Tang Bao's little face. "Or, I'll give you a test when we get back. See if anything happened between me and anyone else." Tang Bao was stunned at first. Then she understood what Di Haoyan meant by test. She turned her face to the other side uncomfortably. The next second, her jaw tightened and her face was forced to turn again. She was forced to look into Di Haoyan's eyes. When her gaze fell into Di Haoyan's deep black eyes, it disappeared like a drop of water falling into the sea and being swallowed by the sea. It was not just her gaze. Tang Bao felt that her body was about to be swallowed up by those eyes that were as vast as the universe. "Or do you want to test it now?" After Di Haoyan finished speaking, he really wanted to take it out like a hooligan. Tang Bao was shocked and held his hand down. "What are you doing?" Di Haoyan's dark eyes stared at the suspicious blush on Tang Bao's face, and his eyes flickered fiercely like a flame. "I'll test it for you." "I don't want to." "Then how can I prove my innocence?" Tang Bao thought to herself. "Is he trying to prove my innocence? Are you sure you're not tempted?" She was not so easily fooled. "Can you prove my innocence just like that?" "I'm not in the mood. Just don't bother me." Tang Bao pulled away his domineering hand from her chin and turned her face to the other side. She did not want to look at him. They arrived at the castle. Tang Bao got out of the car and walked straight to the hall. The cold expression on her face turned into a smile when she saw the two babies in the hall. "Mommy, Mommy." The two babies saw her and called out to her happily, especially Xiao Bao, who jumped over to her with her two short legs like a beautiful little butterfly and hugged her leg like a lazy little cat. "Mommy, have you eaten outside? Are you full?" Xiao Bao asked with a pout. "Of course I'm full. How about you? Did you and brother eat well?" Tang Bao asked gently as she tidied the hair by her ear. "Yes, brother and I ate a lot. We're so full." "Mommy, touch my belly." Xiao Bao held out her round belly and let Tang Bao touch it. Tang Bao really did touch it and then said with a smile, "You're really full." Di Haoyan walked in from behind, and his gaze fell on Tang Bao as if the others did not exist. Tang Bao did not need to turn around to feel the strong pressure. "You haven't bathed yet, right?" Mommy will help you wash it? Okay. Xiao Bao was very happy. Tang Bao took the two babies upstairs and finally went to Xiao Bao's room. The briefcase was placed on the table. Xiao Bao asked, Mommy, are you still going to sleep with me tonight? Tang Bao came back to her senses. Do you want Mommy to sleep with you? Xiao Bao looked like she was struggling, and then said, I don't think so. Tang Bao was surprised. She thought that Xiao Bao would be very happy. Why? Mommy should sleep with Daddy. Annie Zhongli said that Daddy didn't sleep the whole night. Tang Bao did not care about what Zhongli said to Xiao Bao. Instead, her heart suddenly trembled, and she felt dizzy from the lack of oxygen, and her vision turned black. Di Hao Ian used to have insomnia, but then he mysteriously recovered. Could it be that he cannot sleep now? She just did not sleep with him the whole night. Was it that serious? Tang Bao looked at Xiao Bao's sensible little face and said, Okay, Mommy will go back to sleep after I help you wash up. Okay. Xiao Bao nodded vigorously, very happy. Tang Bao could not help but ask, What else did Annie Zhongli say to you? She said that Daddy and Mommy won't quarrel if they sleep together. Zhongli really knew how to talk. What did she mean by they won't quarrel if they sleep together? Chapter 944. Di Hao Ian must think that she was being unreasonable when she was bathing Xiao Bao and washing her little feet. Her gaze fell on a bright red birthmark on her inner thigh. It was as big as a fingernail. Pan Yuehua's words hit her brain and made her head hurt. Tang Bao looked at Xiao Bao, who was playing with water with her fingers open, and asked silently, Are you really that woman's child? Xiao Bao, will you leave Mommy one day? Xiao Bao smiled and hooked her arms around Tang Bao's neck. Of course not. I want to be with Mommy forever. Tang Bao's heart warmed, and her eyes became hot. While she was in a daze, her lips were kissed. Xiao Bao's soft mouth pressed against hers, and then she moved away. She covered her mouth and snickered as if she had secretly eaten a cake. Tang Bao looked at her and couldn't help but laugh. Mommy, I kissed you secretly. Don't tell Daddy. Otherwise, Daddy will be angry. After saying that, Xiao Bao looked around, afraid that Di Hao Ian would see her. It was understandable that she was guarding against the bathroom door, but why was she looking elsewhere? Could it be that Di Hao Ian was everywhere? Okay, I won't tell him. After bathing Xiao Bao, Tang Bao returned to her room, but she didn't see Di Hao Ian. He was in the study. When she went downstairs to the study, she didn't see Di Hao Ian either. When she came out of the study, Zhongli walked over. Young madam, are you looking for the young master? He went out. Yes, he took a call and went out. Zhongli didn't dare to say it. Tang Bao had already guessed it. But why did Di Hao Ian go out? I think the young master must have something urgent to attend to. Zhongli was afraid that Tang Bao would be angry, so he quickly said. Tang Bao thought that Di Hao Ian definitely didn't go out because of something urgent. It was because the two of them hadn't reconciled at all. Tang Bao didn't say anything. He turned around and went upstairs to the master bedroom. In the luxurious bar, in the D-Zune private room, Di Hao Ian sat alone with his long legs crossed and a half-burnt cigarette between his fingers. His aura was deep and terrifying. It was as if it was a different world from this place. It was so quiet that it made people feel oppressed. It was as if the purpose of coming here was not to relax, but to make people feel uneasy. The female model carried the wine in. Her tall figure was very enchanting as she walked. After entering, she glanced at Di Hao Ian, who was sitting there with a strong aura. The affection in her eyes was very tactful. She almost moaning. She squatted down and placed the wine on the table. She opened it and poured the wine into the glass. She Hao Ian's Di Hao Ocean Hao Ian's Zunes as she knew that he was the Di Hao Ian before she came in. The others were also trying their best to get in. Fortunately, she was lucky and was the most beautiful. The bar wasn't stupid. It would be good for them to be associated with the Di Hao Ian. Your eyes are beautiful. Di Hao Ian took a puff of his cigarette. The white smoke that he exhaled covered his chiseled face. It made it hard for people to see it clearly. The female model was overjoyed when she heard that she was being praised. She was about to organize her words in her mind. She heard the Di Hao Hien speak again. So beautiful that I want to dig them out and play with them. The smile on the female model's face froze. It was as if even the rouge and face powder couldn't hide the paleness of her face. At this moment, the door of the private room opened and Gu Linshan walked in. That's enough. You can leave. There's no need to serve here. The female model lowered her head, stood up, and immediately left the private room. She just looked at you a few more times, and you want to dig her eyes out. How cruel are you? Gu Linshan said as he sat down. He said it as if he was a gentle person. In fact, the two of them were the same. Di Hao Ian's dark eyes looked coldly at Gu Linshan. Gu Linshan poured himself a glass of wine. Drink up. Di Hao Ian's expression was cold. He flicked the cigarette accurately into the bin. He picked up the glass of wine in front of him and drank it in one gulp. Gu Linshan smiled faintly. Why do I feel like we've returned to the past? When we quarrel, the person who runs out is definitely you. You can't even keep your composure like the Tang Bao. We didn't quarrel. I was called out by you. Di Hao Ian was a little embarrassed and said coldly, let's not hide anything between us. Don't you think I know? When it comes to the Tang Bao, you don't even know what your surname is. Why did you quarrel with the Tang Bao? Gu Linshan asked curiously. Nothing. Hey, don't say that I'm not loyal. If you don't tell me, I won't be able to solve your problem. Di Hao Tian heard the hidden meaning in his words and looked at him with his dark brows slightly furrowed. Why? You don't believe me? What do you know? Tell me. Gu Linshan leaned back lazily and lit a cigarette. She hung up on me for no reason. There were rumors about me in tea, Di Hao Tian said coldly. Rumors about a woman? Did you flirt with another woman? If that's true, I'll definitely treat you to a meal. Gu Linshan did not help him, but spoke as if he had seen something strange. There's no such thing. Di Hao Ian's expression darkened and the temperature in the air dropped. I think so too. Just these two things. Nothing else? Do you know something? You'd better spit it out. Di Hao Ian's expression was not polite. Of course I'll spit it out. Otherwise, you'll go crazy and push the blame to me again. If we fight, both of us will lose. There's nothing to gain. Gu Linshan was a vengeful person. He deeply remembered how Di Hao Ian had treated Luo Luoli. But because he remembered it so deeply, it always made him nervous and worried about his gains and losses. Di Hao Ian knew his weakness. He did not need to deal with him. As long as he caught Luo Luoli, he would lose. Di Hao Ian no longer had the patience to listen to Gu Linshan's nonsense. He only wanted to know what else Gu Linshan knew that he did not know. But before I tell you, I want to ask you something. Gu Linshan blew out a puff of smoke. Is there something wrong with your daughter? Di Hao Ian's dark eyes sharpened. What did you say? You mean your daughter is your biological daughter, right? It can't be that Tang Bao brought you a green grassland, right? That can't be right. Your son looks exactly like you. Your son and daughter are fraternal twins. There's no way she's not yours. Di Hao Ian's dark eyes were extremely gloomy, as if there was no emotion in them. In fact, this was extremely abnormal. Xiao Bao was not his and Tang Bao's biological daughter. Only he and Tang Bao knew this. Where did Gu Linshan get his speculation from? She's my daughter. What's the problem? Di Hao Ian said coldly. Chapter 945. Di Hao Ian's heart sank. What did you say? A middle-aged woman, dressed like a country bumpkin, appeared and asked Tang Bao for her daughter. Lolita and I were both there. You look like you don't know anything. Tang Bao is quite good at hiding things. Hey, why did you leave? I haven't finished speaking yet. Have you paid your bill? Before Gu Linshan could finish speaking, Di Hao Ian had already disappeared. Di Hao Ian's face was gloomy. He walked out of the bar anxiously, his long legs taking 2 steps. He-Ju and his bodyguards followed closely behind. He-Ju didn't know what had happened. He only knew that Gu Linshan was like this not long after he went in. It didn't seem like Gu Linshan had provoked Di Hao Ian. Instead, it seemed like something had happened in the castle. But what could have happened in the castle? After getting into the car drove back. Di Hao Ian's face was gloomy. He asked He-Ju in the front passenger seat, has the driver been fired? Yes. I asked him why the car hit the guardrail. He said it was because of a cat. That's what he said. When Ju first asked the driver said that a cat jumped out halfway, causing the car to lose control and hit the guardrail. The young master's question was obviously suspicious of something. Tang Bao, who was sitting on the sofa, was watching TV while paying attention to her phone. She was thinking about what Di Hao Ian was doing now. If he didn't come back at night, where else could he go besides the bar? He was simply a level 10 bastard. She didn't say that she ran to the bar because she was angry. Could it be that he drank in the bar and forgot about his home and asked a beauty to pour him another drink or something? After all, something like this had happened before. The female model poured Di Hao Ian a drink and squatted in front of him. From the best angle, she could see everything from the corner of her eye. Tang Bao was about to crush the phone in her hand. However, she didn't have that strength, so the phone was naturally intact. What was damaged was probably her internal organs. She was so angry. Didn't you say that you couldn't sleep at night? This is called being unable to sleep? She saw that he was very energetic. He was still not back yet. The more Tang Bao thought about it, the more irritated he became. Could it be that Di Hao Ian was really trapped by the women in the bar? The Tang Bao simply did not dare to think about it anymore. In the end, he couldn't hold it in anymore. Suppressing the raging anger in his heart, he called Di Hao Ian. Then the line was busy. Who was he calling? It was the same for 2 consecutive Tang Bao calls. She was so angry that her face turned green. Di Hao Ian, you bastard, don't come back. Tang Bao was so angry that he threw his phone on the sofa. The phone bounced on the sofa. Tang Bao went downstairs with a gloomy face. She ran to the kitchen to find something to eat. Then, she opened the fridge and saw the ice cream inside. She took it out and ate it. Anyway, the children were all asleep and did not know that she had secretly eaten. Di Hao Ian was not around, so she could eat as much as she wanted. Young madam, why are you eating ice cream? Didn't the young master not let you eat at night? Zhongli walked over and asked. I want to eat. So what? Tang Bao said without looking up. Zhang Li's face twitched. Why don't you eat something else? It's too cold to eat tonight. It won't be good if your stomach catches a cold. It's okay. I'm full of anger now. I can eat it to suppress it. Young madam, are you angry with the young master? Zhongli asked carefully. No. Do you think I can't tell? The young master will be back soon. The young master won't stay outside for long. How do you know? The young master dotes on young madam more than the 2 babies. And young madam, you can call the young master. If the young master receives your call, he will definitely come home immediately, Zhongli said. I don't want to. Tang Bao didn't have the face to say that she had already called, but Di Hao Ian didn't pick up. Zhongli was about to say something when he felt a black shadow appear. She turned around and saw a tall figure appear in the kitchen. She glanced at Tang Bao, who was eating ice cream with his head lowered. Then, she quietly walked out with her head lowered. Tang Bao, who was eating, didn't hear Zhongli say anything. Just as she was about to ask why he didn't say anything, her hand was empty. The ice cream was taken away. Who allowed you to eat this at night? Tang Bao's body trembled. She looked up and met Di Hao Ian's deep, unhappy eyes. It was as if there was a suppressed emotion in them that she couldn't see through. I've already eaten it. Do you think I can spit it out? Tang Bao broke the jar. She was still wondering why Di Hao Ian suddenly appeared in front of her. Wasn't he still on the phone? Wasn't he at the bar? Wasn't he at the bar? However, her sharp nose smelled a hint of alcohol on Di Hao Ian. She wondered if there was any perfume on his body. Just as Tang Bao lowered her eyes and thought about this and that, a shadow approached her. Her jaw tightened and her face was lifted up. She was forced to meet Di Hao Ian's sharp face looking down at her. His dark eyes were so deep, as if they were going to devour her. His voice was low and hoarse. I'll help you eat it. After that, he kissed Tang Bao hard on her bright red lips. Oh, Tang Bao hadn't swallowed the ice cream in her mouth yet. Now she understood what Di Hao Ian meant when he said he would help her eat it. Damn it. Wasn't it dirty? It was so disgusting. However, Di Hao Ian didn't seem to feel it. He really ate it inside and out. When Tang Bao could no longer taste the ice cream in her mouth, and only had Di Hao Ian's breath left, she was released. When Tang Bao let go of him, she swayed a little due to the lack of oxygen. Then, she fell on a Di Hao Ian's strong chest. She was panting heavily. It was as if she would die if she was a second slower. Tang Bao's head was pillowed on his chest. After she calmed down and woke up, she felt Di Hao Ian still hugging her tightly. He was so strong that she felt as if he wanted to rub her into his bones and blood. Why? Did he remember her now? Didn't he want to go to the bar? Di Hao Ian's chest was right next to Tang Bao's mouth. Hence, she opened her mouth and bit. Di Hao Ian didn't push her away. Instead, he hummed in pleasure and said in a low and hoarse voice, "Harder." When Tang Bao heard Di Hao Ian's words, she stopped biting. Most importantly, she couldn't bite him. She kept biting until her teeth were sore. His muscles were too stiff. Tang Bao struggled a little and wanted to leave. Di Hao Ian didn't allow it. "Don't move. Let me hug you." Tang Bao didn't move. She was still in his arms. "Didn't you go out? Why are you willing to come back? Are the beauties in the bar willing to let you come back?" "I went to the bar, but there weren't any beauties." "Won't there be any beauties in that kind of place? They can't even compare to a strand of your hair." Di Hao Ian looked at her deeply. His endless darkness seemed to drown her. Chapter 946. Your ex-chauffeur. Tang Bao's heart skipped a beat. She was nervous. She couldn't care less about why her chauffeur had become his ex-chauffeur. "Why did you hide it from me?" Di Hao Ian's gaze became sharp and penetrating. At this moment, how could Tang Bao still keep his anger in his heart? He lost his confidence. "Why do you still care about me? Aren't you in a scandal with another woman?" Tang Bao. Tang Bao's heart skipped a beat. She was scared out of her wits. Di Hao Ian rarely called her by her full name. However, whenever he called her by her full name, she would be in trouble. She couldn't help but take a step back. "What were you doing? I'm telling you, don't you dare use domestic violence." She couldn't defeat Di Hao Ian. She couldn't even defeat a finger of his. Di Hao Ian's face was so gloomy that it was as if a cold wind had passed through the kitchen. Tang Bao trembled all over. His voice sounded ferocious. "I'm going to use domestic violence on you right now. Otherwise, you won't learn your lesson." Di Hao Ian threw the ice cream in his hand away. "What? Hey, Tang Bao's entire body was lifted up. Then, she realized that Di Hao Ian was carrying her upstairs. "Di Hao Ian, what are you doing?" "Domestic violence." Tang Bao was stunned. She looked at Di Hao Ian's chiseled and cold face. Her whole body tensed up. Was he really going to use domestic violence? She was a little unsure. After all, Di Hao Ian's face was very scary now. However, when they reached the room, Tang Bao was thrown directly onto the bed. The smash made her feel dizzy. Just as she regained her composure, an overwhelming darkness attacked her. She was so frightened that she instinctively used both hands to support herself against the dark chest. You should calm down. I should show you whether I'm interested in another woman or you." Di Hao Ian's eyes were unusually dark and dangerous. Tang Bao finally understood what Di Hao Ian meant by domestic violence. Why did she find this even scarier? That outcome would definitely be too horrible to look at, hovering between life and death, alive and dead. "There's no need to look. Besides, I'm not in a mood right now." Di Hao Ian's eyes darkened. He narrowed his eyes and lowered his body slightly. When his face was inches away from Tang Bao's, he stopped and asked in a low voice, "What did that woman say?" "Her name is Pan Yuehua. She told me a long story about how she kept giving birth to children for her husband. In order to give birth to sons, she ended up giving birth to all 7 daughters. Later, he realized that he had too many daughters and couldn't afford to raise them, so he sold one of them. Xiao Bao was one of them. She also said that there was a red birthmark on Xiao Bao's inner thigh. Indeed, there was, but I still didn't believe her. She also said that she wanted to do a paternity test. So you backed off?" If she wasn't sure, she wouldn't have dared to say anything about a paternity test. "I don't know how she found this place. For what she said, I don't think she could have found this place based on her abilities." "What are you suspecting?" Tang Bao wanted to say something, but she didn't want to. If she suspected something, wouldn't Di Hao Ian have to look for Di Junbai again? Now, she had to consider Di bowling. If she didn't say anything, she was afraid that she would miss out on something. Say it. Di Hao Qian gripped her chin, not allowing her to dodge. I don't have any evidence. That woman only said that the first person she found was Di Junbai. I'm thinking, if Di Junbai was behind this, why did he expose himself? Di Hao Ian sneered. This was Di Junbai's way of doing things. This person was challenging his bottom line. But now, it's not Di Junbai's problem. What should we do about Xiao Bao? That woman doesn't look like she'll let this go, Tang Bao said worriedly. When something like this happens, you should be the first to tell me. You shouldn't hide it from me. Di Hao Ian's grip on her chin tightened slightly. However, Tang Bao already felt that he was using a lot of strength. That's your fault. What's there to blame me for? Di Hao Ian narrowed his long and narrow eyes, looking especially sharp and dangerous. Why? You don't want me to say it. Why are you so against me eating with the opposite sex? In their eyes, I'm a man. What can I do? Tang Bao retorted, not to be outdone. Di Hao Ian didn't get angry when he saw that she didn't listen to him. Instead, he laughed. This laugh almost scared Tang Bao out her wits. She felt her whole body go weak. Looks like I should teach that mouth of yours a lesson, Di Hao Ian said viciously. How? You'll know when we're showering. Tang Bao's head froze. Why did he have to teach her a lesson when she was showering? Then, her face turned red. She couldn't be blamed for thinking too much. It was just that Di Hao Ian's gaze made her think in that direction. This person's wickedness wasn't something that happened in a day or two. She had also experienced it for a long time. He was totally a big devil. Tang Bao immediately struggled. Let me get up. I've already showered. Although this sounded like a blatant lie, she was willing to do it, as long as she could escape this disaster. Shower again, Di Hao Ian said, and picked her up. No, Di Hao Ian, the matter hasn't been resolved yet. Tang Bao didn't know how he was still in the mood to mess around. Hubby is here. Everything can be resolved. Now that Di Hao Ian knew about this matter, Tang Bao was indeed relieved. However, this was not a reason for him to do whatever he wanted. However, Di Hao Ian wouldn't give her a chance to escape. After entering the bathroom, he directly pressed her against the glass next to the shower. Because he used too much force, the glass made an unbearable sound. Di Hao Ian, Tang Bao's face turned red. She was trapped and had no way out. In front of Di Hao Ian, she was absolutely weak. You didn't accompany me for one night. Make it up to me. Di Hao Ian's chiseled face approached her, as if he was going to stick to her. Tang Bao only felt that the air around her had become thin and she couldn't breathe. Didn't you not sleep for the whole night? You still have the energy to think about this now? You should go to bed earlier. Who said that I didn't sleep for the whole night? Zhongli, meddlesome. Di Hao Ian finished speaking and was about to kiss Tang Bao. Tang Bao shivered and reached out to cover Di Hao Ian's thin lips. His hot breath made her palms itch, but she didn't dare to let go. Once she let go, her mouth would be in trouble. I can't sleep if I don't hug you. Di Hao Ian's voice came from her palms. Tang Bao's palms itched even more. She couldn't stand it anymore and her hands trembled. However, she resisted and didn't move them away. She blushed and questioned, You're talking nonsense, right? It's true. After Di Hao Ian said that, Tang Bao felt her palms become wet. Oh. Tang Bao was shocked and immediately withdrew her hands. However, in the next second, her little mouth was devoured. Chapter 9:47. What else could she do? Di Hao Ian said that he didn't sleep well the whole night and couldn't fall asleep without hugging her. Although he hugged her countless times, Tang Bao couldn't stop him from going crazy. Once he started, how could she stop a wild beast? In the morning, before Tang Bao opened her eyes, she felt Di Hao Ian get out of bed. She opened her eyes and saw Di Hao Ian standing there, putting on his shirt. He had a good figure. He was tall and muscular, and his muscles were defined. He was sexy and full of wildness, as if he was ready to attack at any time. He was full of endless danger. Di Hao Ian turned around. Tang Bao didn't have time to retract her gaze, and her eyes couldn't help but flicker. Di Hao Yin looked at her cute appearance, walked to the bedside, bent down, and kissed her deeply on the lips. Tang Bao was caught off guard and was devoured. After a long time, he let go. Tang Bao's face was flushed red, as if the redness had reached a point where it couldn't dissipate. Are you hungry? I exercise too much. Of course I'm hungry. Tang Bao glared at him. Di Hao Qian smiled dotingly and was about to get up to get her something to eat. However, Tang Bao reached out and tugged at his shirt sleeve. She asked worriedly, that matter? How are you going to deal with it? If that woman is really Xiao Bao's biological mother, what will you do? Well, I do. Of course. I'll make her disappear. Tang Bao was stunned and didn't say anything. In order to keep Xiao Bao by her side, she could be an unreasonable person. Besides, if that woman's thoughts were pure, her morals wouldn't be as relaxed as they were now. She had so many daughters. Did she really care about Xiao Bao that much? Not necessarily. If Xiao Bao returned to that woman's side, she didn't know what would happen. No matter what, she wouldn't agree to it. You didn't sleep last night. You only slept a little this morning, right? Are you tired? Why don't you rest in the castle today? Tang Bao was a little embarrassed to mention what had happened last night. Didn't Di Hao Yin not sleep for a day and a night? Last night, he had squeezed her with all his might, so he must not have slept well. Are you worried about your husband? The tip of Di Hao Yin's nose rubbed against hers. It was extremely intimate. Tang Bao's face was burning. No, hubby likes it when you say one thing and mean another. Di Hao Yin nibbled on her lips. Tang Bao was trembling all over before he let go. Then, she heard Di Hao Yin's low and hoarse voice. It's okay. Hubby just needs to eat and drink to his heart's content, and he'll be full of energy. Tang Bao refused to look at him. He wished he could bury his head under the blanket. What the hell was this? You don't have to give me breakfast. I'll go downstairs and eat by myself. Okay, Di Hao Yin said as he carried her out of the blanket. Tang Bao was shocked. She instinctively wrapped her hands around his broad shoulders. What are you doing? Washing up. Did he have to carry her to wash up? Not only that, she was also carried downstairs by Di Hao Yin. Tang Bao struggled to no avail. She regretted saying that she would go downstairs to eat. It was not like she could not walk. Although her back was sore, it was not to the extent of being disabled, right? When Lien and Zhang Li saw Di Hao Yin carrying Tang Bao downstairs, they heaved a sigh of relief. They had reconciled. In fact, even if he did not carry her downstairs, the atmosphere in the castle could be felt. Otherwise, everyone would be in a state of panic. Daddy, Mommy. The two babies were even happier when they saw them. Tang Bao smiled awkwardly. On the other hand, Di Hao Yin looked calm and at ease. He said to the children, it's time to eat. Then, he carried Tang Bao directly into the dining room. They sat on the chairs in front of the table. Only then did the two of them part ways. Good girl, drink the milk, Di Hao Yin said when he saw that Tang Bao did not drink the milk. Tang Bao could not maintain the expression on her face. Couldn't she drink it later? Then he wouldn't have to watch her eat breakfast, right? I'll drink it later, Tang Bao said. Di Hao Yin asked the two babies, what do you think? Drink it now. The two babies said in unison. Tang Bao's mouth twitched. Most importantly, Xiao Bao added, Mommy, you have to be obedient. Wasn't this what she usually said to them? Now, she was using it on her. Under Di Hao Yin's oppressive gaze, Tang Bao quietly drank a mouthful of milk first. She did not know why, but in front of these three people, her dignity did not exist. It was as if, among the four of them, she was the youngest and the one who needed to be protected the most. At this moment, Hiju walked in and looked at Di Hao Yin. The gentle lines on Di Hao Yin's face became sharp, and his black eyes became sharp. Hiju understood Di Hao Yin's gaze. Tang Bao turned around and noticed Hiju. What's wrong? She asked. It's an internal matter of tea, Hiju said. Internal matter of tea? Then Di Hao Yin should be the one to step in, right? Otherwise, Hiju would not have appeared at this time. Is it urgent? Tang Bao asked. Eat before you go. I'll send the children to school. Okay, Di Hao Yin agreed. After Di Hao Yin got in the car, he said coldly, speak. Hee-ju opened the web page on his phone and handed it to Hao-Ian. This was uploaded in the morning. The video was none other than a variety show called Family Ties Through the Law, and the main character was Pan Yuehua. However, Hao-Ian had never seen her in person and only knew her name. Last night, young Master D asked me to investigate this woman. She's being controlled now. But this show was already recorded from the start, and now it's ready to be broadcasted. The daughter mentioned in the show was not the D family, but the young madam. The TV station must not have known. If they did, they would not have dared to do this show at the risk of being banned, Hee-ju said with a cold expression. Hao-Ian's expression became extremely frightening and malicious. In the show, Pan Yuehua played the family card and pretended to be pitiful to gain sympathy. Everyone was pointing at Tang Bao. At Bao studio. Go to T, Hao-Ian said coldly. Yes. When they arrived at T, Hao-Ian got out of the car at the entrance and stood at the entrance of Bao studio. There were bodyguards everywhere. Hee-ju walked forward. Young Master D, the studio has already been arranged. No photos will be leaked. Although the TV station has already warned them, the video still leaked. The studio was already open, and the employees inside had already arrived. When they noticed the person standing at the door, their eyes widened. They hid in the corner and secretly looked outside. They whispered, "Isn't that President Tang's friend? Why does it seem like he got out of that black car?" Shouting looked at him and thought, "He's not just a friend, he's obviously a boyfriend." I saw it too. Chapter 948. I don't know why, but I have a bad feeling about this. Could it be that he's a young master? Everyone else's expression was simply one of shock. They couldn't be blamed for guessing this way. There was a row of bodyguards' cars behind the car, and Hao-Ian's fierce aura. It would be strange if it wasn't him, right? Hao-Ian stood in front of the studio, his face dark and cold. He suddenly thought of something and turned to make a phone call while walking to the car. Hee-ju didn't dare to delay and followed him into the car. Go to school. Hee-ju seemed to have realized something was wrong and hurriedly urged the driver to go to the Ivy League school. On the way, Tang Bao was talking to the two babies when the phone in her briefcase rang. She opened her briefcase and took out the phone inside. When she saw that it was Hao-Ian, she answered, "Hello? What's the matter? Where are you?" Hao-Ian's low and intimidating voice came from the other side. Tang Bao looked ahead. The school is just around the corner. Before she could finish speaking, the driver braked. The car braked steadily, but Tang Bao was still stunned, especially when she saw that many people immediately surrounded the car after it stopped. They were carrying cameras on their shoulders and holding cell phones and microphones in their hands. They were pressed against the car window as if they wanted to crawl in. "Bao! Bao!" Hao-Ian's voice was almost roaring. Tang Bao came back to her senses. "I think I'm surrounded by reporters. It's just that there doesn't seem to be any gossip about me in the entertainment industry recently." "Are you in the car?" "Don't get out of the car. I'll come over right away. Wait for me. Don't hang up." "Okay." As soon as she finished speaking, someone threw things at her car window. There were even eggs. The two babies were stunned. Tang Bao quickly hugged them and didn't let them see. She calmly comforted them. "It's okay. Daddy will be here soon." Tang Bao knew those reporters. They would do anything for their own news, regardless of whether it was dangerous or not. However, why did she feel that these people weren't just reporters, but also cynical? Tang Bao thought. She didn't do anything bad, did she? Usually, if she was alone, it would be fine, but now that there were two children, she couldn't help but feel a little nervous. He was afraid that they would be hurt. Hao-Ian listened to the commotion on the other side of the phone. His whole body was wrapped in a ferocious aura that seemed to want to take someone's life in an instant. Hee-ju didn't need to turn around to feel it. The driver was no exception. He stepped on the accelerator. Hao-Ian's car was no ordinary car. It was terrifyingly fast. "Shameless man, come out. If you have the guts to do it, then come out. Who do you think you are? Occupying someone else's child. Can't you give birth to one yourself?" I think it's precisely because you can't give birth to a child that you want to steal someone else's child. Aren't you afraid of being struck by lightning? Mr. Tang, is that Mr. Tang inside? Can you come out and say a few words? Once you're done, we won't disturb you anymore. Mr. Tang, I heard that you stole someone else's child. Is that true? Why did you do that? We also heard that Mr. Tang is actually an agent in the entertainment industry, the boss of Love Bao Studio, and you have famous artists under your management. May I ask why you stole someone else's child? Mr. Tang, can you come out and say a few words? We just want to know the truth. Or maybe you're wronged. Even if you're wronged, you should come out and seek justice. Or maybe you have a guilty conscience and don't dare to come out and face it. Tang Bao silently listened to the words outside. It was as if there were two groups of people, but in fact their motive was the same. How could she believe what they said? But now, she finally understood why these people had besieged her. Using the media? This really made her underestimate that woman. She was in the entertainment industry, so she knew how difficult it was to deal with reporters. Now, even the children were not spared. However, did that woman find the media herself, or was there someone behind her? With Tang Bao's experience in the entertainment industry, such a countrywoman would only run to the authorities to complain if there was no one to guide her. She would not use the media wisely. Young madam, you don't have to get out of the car. We'll just wait here for the young master. The young master will be here soon, the driver said after calling Hiju. I know. Tang Bao glanced at the driver in front of her. When she got into the car at the castle, she noticed that her driver had been replaced. Only then did she remember what Di Hao Yin said last night about the ex-driver. He was too overbearing. He changed her driver without even informing her. Now, it was Di Hao Yin who arranged for her to be the driver. No matter where she went in the future, Di Hao Yin would know her whereabouts clearly without needing to ask. However, now was not the time to dwell on this matter. Instead, it was the people outside the car window who were constantly smashing the window. Bao turned his face and looked at the people outside the window. His eyes were very cold, and then he asked Tang Bao, Mommy, what do these people mean? Yeah, Mommy didn't steal someone else's child, Xiao Bao said unhappily. I hate them. Tang Bao was stunned for a moment. Only then did she remember that although the children were young, it did not mean that they did not know anything. The children must have heard what those people said just now. After Tang Bao covered it up, she said, It's okay. They must have made a mistake. We'll just have to figure it out when the time comes. There was no way she would tell them the truth. She would scare the children. Tang Bao hoped that they would never find out such a truth for the rest of her life. Mr. Tang, why have you been hiding in the car and not coming out? Are you feeling guilty? I think you're a thief who wants someone else's daughter. Be careful of retribution for stealing someone else's child. Tang Bao's face had already turned ashen. What did they mean by her stealing someone else's child? She did not steal it. The child was hers. These people's words were really too harsh. Although she was angry, there was still bitterness in her heart. Was she wrong? Was it her fault? She was just upset about the fact that Xiao Bao was really not her child. Mommy, it's so stuffy. Xiao Bao's voice could be heard. Tang Bao came back to her senses and realized that she was hugging Xiao Bao too tightly. Xiao Bao's little head was completely buried in her arms. Sorry, I'll be gentler. Tang Bao loosened her grip slightly. Di Hao Yin's car stopped by the side. Before Di Hao Yin's people could get out of the car, the bodyguards quickly got out and surrounded Tang Bao's car and the troublemakers. When the troublemakers saw the situation, they were so frightened that they stopped moving and were stunned. Not to mention them, even Tang Bao, who was sitting in the car, was stunned. This was the first time she saw so many people around Di Hao Yin. There were more than 200 bodyguards under him, right? Chapter 949. The troublemakers felt that they were in big trouble and were scared out of their wits, but they couldn't run away. Even a fly couldn't escape. As if the whole world had quieted down, the door of Di Hao Yin's car opened. His long legs stepped out, and his tall, godlike figure appeared in front of everyone's eyes, but it made them feel an unbearable fear. His eyeballs hurt from the piercing pain. The road in the middle gave way, and Di Hao Yin's tall figure walked through it. He walked all the way to Tang Bao's car and stood still. He didn't open the door, but turned to the troublemakers next to him. What did you film? Di Haoyan asked. His calm but deadly voice made people tremble. The legs of the big brother, who was carrying the camera, went weak. It was as if the camera on his shoulder weighed 1,000 pounds. Smash it, Di Haoyan ordered with a cold and frightening look in his eyes. Then, the bodyguards smashed the cell phones and cameras on everyone present. They didn't leave any photos or messages. At this moment, even if they called the police, they felt a sense of hopelessness. They were just surrounding Tang Ge. Why did such a terrible situation happen? Who were they? Where did they come from? Di Haoyan walked to Tang Bao's car, opened the door, and looked at Tang Bao. Tang Bao met the pair of dark eyes. His eyes flashed, but he didn't say anything. He felt that his heartbeat was not normal. Di Haoyan really hid his strength. The appearance of so many bodyguards was too scary. Go to my car, Di Haoyan said. Okay, come, Daddy will carry you. Then Di Haoyan picked up the two babies, one in each hand. Tang Bao walked in front, and Di Haoyan, who was carrying the children, was behind him. The people who had surrounded Tang Bao and wanted to make him suffer didn't dare to let out a fart at this moment, let alone say anything. Tang Bao looked straight ahead and walked to the car with an indifferent expression. After getting into the car, the children were settled down. Di Haoyan also got into the car and instructed the driver to go to school. The car drove away as if nothing had happened. With the child around, Tang Bao did not ask anything. Di Haoyan didn't say anything. He just wrapped his big hand around hers and exerted a little force. Are you afraid? Di Haoyan asked the two children. Mommy said they got the wrong person, Bao said. Mommy didn't steal other people's children. Those are bad people. Xiao Bao pouted. Di Haoyan patted their heads, his face expressionless. Yes, Mommy is right. We made a mistake. This kind of thing would never happen again. Don't be afraid. Daddy is here. The two children nodded obediently. When Tang Bao saw that they had returned to normal and were not frightened, he felt relieved. The people who were left behind became more and more panicked because the cars left, but there were still many bodyguards in black. Did this mean that they were not going to let them go? One of the bolder men asked, trembling with fear, Our cameras have been smashed. There's nothing left. Can we leave now? Zhang Chao looked at them indifferently. You want to leave? Maybe I should let you know who you're messing with. What do you want? How about going to jail? Zhang Chao asked. Those people were so scared that their faces turned pale and almost fell to the ground. After sending the children to school, only Di Haoyan and Tang Bao were left in the car. Almost as soon as the children entered the school gate, Di Haoyan hugged Tang Bao. Tang Bao tensed up. What are you doing? Helping you get over the shock. What? Tang Bao was about to ask, but before she could finish, she was kissed deeply. She couldn't say a word. Was this what he meant by getting over the shock? Only he could think of such a thing. But after a long kiss, Tang Bao's tensed nerves did indeed relax. Not only did she relax, but she was also almost paralyzed. After a while, Di Haoyan wanted to continue kissing her, but Tang Bao tilted her face slightly and kissed her face with his thin lips. Di Haoyan grabbed her little face forcefully, and she couldn't escape from his palm. He held her in place and kissed her forcefully. Tang Bao groaned when she couldn't take it anymore. Di Haoyan couldn't stay calm. He let go of her slightly. You're seducing your husband again. I'm not, Tang Bao retorted dizzily. She grabbed Di Haoyan's coat with one hand and asked after she was slightly awake, What's going on with those people? Pan Yuehua went on a variety show. What show? Di Haoyan took out his cell phone and showed it to her. They couldn't hide it anymore. Some people had already prepared their strategies from the very beginning. Pan Yuehua's appearance was just the last step of the strategy. Tang Bao watched the video on Di Haoyan's cell phone. Pan Yuehua didn't mention the Di family from the beginning to the end, but only her. After watching the video, Tang Bao took out her cell phone and checked Weibo. Sure enough, Weibo was full of people scolding her. There were also people she was familiar with in the entertainment industry who sent her private messages asking what was going on. There were even people who went to Meng Shi and Cheng Ju's Weibo to ask for the truth. Tang Bao was speechless. She closed Weibo and stuffed her cell phone into her briefcase. These people were really everywhere. Not to mention that she was in the entertainment industry. If it weren't for Di Hao Ian's power, she would have been exposed long ago. Actually, she wasn't afraid of any of this. She was only afraid that Xiao Bao would leave her. Can this matter be settled? If I talk to Pan Yuehua properly, will she agree to give up? Tang Bao asked. I'll make her give up. Tang Bao looked up and saw the dark side of Di Hao Ian's black eyes. After all, that's Xiao Bao's family. Don't go overboard. What are you afraid of? Xiao Bao is still young. If she grows up or finds out the truth one day, it won't be good. Tang Bao's consideration was right. Her current identity was a mother without any blood relations, but Pan Yuehua was different. Even if Xiao Bao loved Tang Bao, would she be happy if Pan Yuehua was killed by Di Hao Ian? If she ignored it, what would others think of her? Would she have no conscience? Tang Bao didn't want Xiao Bao to bear all of this. She was innocent. She didn't know anything. I know what I'm doing, Di Hao Ian said, but the expression on his face was frighteningly cold. If this matter was handed over to Di Hao Ian, it wouldn't be merciful at all. However, Tang Bao also believed that since Di Hao Ian had agreed, he would restrain himself. When Tang Bao returned to the studio, she found that the employees were looking at her strangely. This strangeness wasn't negative. Instead, it seemed like they were looking at her with admiration. Did the incident on Weibo cause them to misunderstand? No matter what, it should be doubts and not the current situation, right? Weren't the comments cursing her? Xiao Ding suppressed the excitement in his heart and went forward. President Tang, you're here? Chapter 950. After entering the office, Xiao Ding quickly comforted him. President Tang, don't take the things on Weibo seriously. Who knows if someone who doesn't like you and can't stand you is spouting nonsense? Do you want to get a lawyer for this matter? Sue all of them? After Tang Bao sat down, he asked, Did you really look at me like that because of this matter? Xiao Ding wanted to say something, but hesitated. With a smile on his face, he asked, President Tang, are you very close to T's young master? Tang Bao hesitated for a moment and didn't answer him directly. Why do you ask? Could it be that these people saw through something? Previously, it was said that she knew T's higher-ups to have this facade. Today, we all saw President Tang's friend get out of T's young master's car. We all agreed that it was the young master. So, we all looked at you with admiration. President Tang, you're too amazing. You actually took down T's young master. If it wasn't for the makeup on Tang Bao's face, he really wanted to wipe it with his hands. She had never thought that this could be called amazing. No matter who he is, that's T's business. You should pay more attention to work. Tang Bao held his forehead. President Tang, we're just paying attention to the outside world while we're paying attention to work. Xiao Ding smiled. If it's the young master, then the matter on Weibo will be solved. What do you mean? The young master will definitely help us solve the problem. Wrong, we'll solve it ourselves. Get the legal department to send a lawyer's letter. Go now. Huh? Oh. Xiao Ding immediately went to work. When he went out, he was still wondering why he didn't ask the young master for help. Tang Bao leaned back in his chair and thought, why would he need Di Hao Ian to do something like this? How would he do it? Could he let him hunt down those people and deal with them one by one? Tang Bao could solve it himself. Tang Bao opened Weibo and scrolled through the page again. However, he found that there were more comments than in the morning. As she continued reading, she realized that most of the comments were asking her to return her daughter to someone else. Tang Bao had been in the entertainment industry for a long time. No matter how much she was scolded and slandered, her heart was as calm as still water. After all, in this line of work, one had to bear such public opinion. However, once his family was involved, he could no longer remain calm. Pan Yuehua was taken to Di Hao Ian's private torture chamber. He didn't know who brought her here, but he was a little panicked. After all, she was surrounded by torture instruments. It was as if there were still traces of blood on them, and she could smell the scent of blood. Where's this place? Pan Yuehua had never seen such a scene before. Don't say that she hasn't seen it before. Not many people in the Imperial City had seen it before. The door opened with a bang. Pan Yuehua, who was on guard all around, trembled in fear and looked towards the door. Hiju walked in first, followed by Di Hao Yin. Hiju was already scary enough, let alone Di Hao Yin. His tall stature gave off an aura wherever he went. Not to mention entering the torture chamber. His entire body was tainted with hellish malice and coldness. When Pan Yuehua met his eyes, she was so scared that her heart almost stopped. She thought that the scariest person in the world was her abusive husband. She didn't expect that there was such a person who didn't need to do anything. Just a look from him was enough to make her feel incomparably terrified. Di Hao Yin walked over and sat down on the chair. He narrowed his eyes, lit a cigarette, and said, "State your request." I don't have any other request. I just hope that my daughter can. That will never happen. Don't waste your time. Di Hao Yin was extremely tough, and his eyes were ruthless. Then he said, "How much did they pay you?" What? What do you mean by how much? I don't know what you're talking about. Pan Yuehua denied it. Unfortunately, her disguise was too poor. How could she escape Di Hao Yin's sharp eyes? You don't have the right to play tricks in front of me. How much did they pay you? I'll pay you double. Is it enough for your family to spend for the rest of their lives? I'm really not doing this for money. I love my daughter. As long as my daughter comes back to me, I'm willing to do anything, Pan Yuehua said. Hiju walked in again, carrying a sizable suitcase in his hands. He pushed the suitcase in front of Pan Yuehua and opened it in front of her. Pan Yuehua's eyes flashed when she saw the shiny white cash inside. She had never seen so much money in her life. Hiju said, "If you disappear, I can give you 10 suitcases of money like this. I think that you won't be able to earn so much money in 10 lifetimes, let alone in this lifetime. One should know when to back down, or else you won't get anything. What do you think?" Pan Yuehua stuttered, 10 suitcases? Yes, 10 suitcases, not one less. Pan Yuehua seemed to be tempted, but she was still hesitant. Besides, if you bring your daughter back, will your life still be as good as it is now? If you really care about your daughter, don't you want her to have a better life? Hiju continued to ask. I've checked where you live. It's poor, backward, and you've been a farmer all your life. Do you want to know what kind of life the daughter you sold is living now? She's living like a princess. So, you don't have to worry about her not having a good life. God has already chosen what kind of life she will have. With your current ability, do you think you have the ability to bring her back? I'm afraid that even if you can bring her back, you won't have the life to raise her. Hiju's words carried a hint of threat. Pan Yuehua's face paled, and her body swayed as she looked at the terrifying torture instruments around her. This was like giving Pan Yuehua 2 choices, money or life. It sounded nice, but if you wanted her life, she wouldn't get anything. You better think carefully. Hiju seemed to be telling her that once she made a choice, she wouldn't have any room for regret. I want money, Pan Yuehua finally said. Then take the money and go back to where you came from, Hiju said. Yes. Walking out of the torture room, Di Hao Yin ordered, "It's not that simple. Get someone to keep an eye on her and her husband." Yes. However, things went beyond Di Hao Yin's expectations. Pan Yuehua took the money and clarified on the media that her daughter had been found. She apologized for wrongly accusing Tang Ge and so on. Then, she took the money and left D City. Zhang Chao, who was tailing her, came back and said that Pan Yuehua didn't contact anyone before she left. Di Hao Yin still felt that something was wrong. Wasn't this Di Junbai's idea? Di Junbai had already returned home from the hospital. He was recuperating at home and didn't need to stay in bed all the time. Occasionally, he would water the garden on the first floor. He looked like a person who had no desires. Chapter 9:51. Lan Wanru walked over and stood beside Di Junbai, asking, "Brother, why is this so strange?" "What's strange?" Di Junbai retracted his gaze and continued to water as he asked. "If her daughter was taken away, the child is Brother Hao Yin's. What does it have to do with Tang Ge? If she was really mistaken for Tang Ji's child, why did she change her mind now? I keep feeling that there's something wrong." Lan Wanru was also a meticulous person. "Since it's been clarified, there's no problem," Di Junbai said. The program team put in a lot of effort, but in the end, the losses outweighed the gains. The TV station won't be able to see the sun the next day. What a pity, Di Junbai said. Lan Wanru immediately understood what he meant. Such a TV station actually didn't investigate anything and just broadcast it. The consequences of offending Di Haoyan were very scary. The TV station must be regretting it now. Of course, how could outsiders investigate the Di family's matters just because they wanted to? It could only be said that they were unlucky to have bumped into them. How much do you know about Tangu? Di Junbai changed the topic as if it was normal. Tangu? I only know about his character, but I don't know anything else. Because I sent someone to investigate, but they couldn't find anything. I only know that he's in the entertainment industry and nothing else. He seems to be quite mysterious. But I think that the more difficult it is to find out, the more problematic it is, Lan Wanru said with certainty. Do you still have feelings for Di Haoyan? Di Junbai asked. Lan Wanru hesitated and didn't say anything, but there was a guilty look in his eyes. You don't have to hide anything in front of me. There's nothing wrong with pursuing your own happiness. Everyone has the right to do so. Di Junbai supported her. Lan Wanru couldn't help but feel relieved. Thank you. I don't even dare to say this in front of Annie. She won't be happy when it comes to that side. It's normal for her to have resentment. In addition, Di Haoyan had always brought bowling to the castle, so his resentment towards Di Haoyan would only deepen. However, what I want to say is that the child will eventually stay by the side of whoever the father is. I really want to know what Tangu was feeling right now. Would she be angry if her child was taken away from her? But the child isn't his after all. Even if you're angry, it's just for show. Even if it's just for show, it has to be so convincing. Di Junbai lowered his head and focused on the flowers and plants. When the clear water was poured on it, it was as if a rainbow could be seen under the sunlight. The corners of Di Junbai's lips curled up into a gentle smile. Lan Wanru turned around and left. She was still thinking about what she had said to Di Junbai. When he returned to his room, he turned on the TV. It was replaying the news of Pan Yuehua's interview. Did this woman really find a wrong child? She really hoped that what this woman said was true. Those people were besieging the Tang Bao, which made her very happy. However, even if it was proven that Di Haoyan's daughter was someone else's, what impact would it have on Tangu? It wasn't like Tangu really gave birth to the child. He was just a shameless B****ers start. Lan Wanru couldn't figure out the connection between the two. Of course, Li Yuhui was the one who was the most overjoyed at the beginning. As soon as she heard those rumors, she wanted to run to Yu Songhuan and tell him about it. Who knew that she was forbidden from entering the bungalow? She was furious. Now that Pan Yuehua had such an interview, she was happy for nothing. In Ibao Studio, all the employees were working seriously one moment, and the next moment, they were even more serious. Their backs were straighter than ever until Di Haoyan passed by and walked upstairs to the office. As soon as the figure disappeared, the women started chattering. It's the young master. I'm not blind. I didn't even dare to breathe when he passed by me. F***CK. Why is the young master so close to our President Tang? Isn't it good? Someone asked unhappily. Of course it's good. If others want to bully our studio in the future, who would dare to do it after we mentioned T's name? No one dares to do it now. Okay. I don't know why, but I feel that the young master and President Tang are a good match. Could it be that they have that kind of relationship? Yeah. Every time the young master comes, he closes the door after entering the office. Now that you mention it, I think it's very suspicious too. Xiao Ding heard it and walked over. Don't talk nonsense. There's no such thing. Even if there was, she couldn't say it. Wouldn't that be telling the whole world that her boss was coming out of the closet? Sister Ding, you've been with President Tang for so many years. Have you noticed that she has an unusual relationship with the young master? No, it's just brotherly love. Is it strange? Xiao Ding asked, puzzled. That's it. The others were disappointed. Nonsense. Our President Tang likes women. After saying that, Xiao Ding left. His heart was filled with excitement. It wasn't that she wanted to lie, but this wasn't her business, so she couldn't talk nonsense. Tang Bao's Weibo had been posted with a lawyer's letter. There were no more curses, only apologies. However, Tang Bao was indifferent to the curses and apologies. However, such an effective result wasn't the credit of a lawyer's letter. It was the interview video about Pan Yuehua. She said something about finding the wrong daughter and causing trouble for Tang Ge. She was sorry. A mother who could be bought with money didn't deserve to be a mother. Perhaps she really wanted to find her daughter in the beginning, but after seeing so much money, she accepted the money. She was really disappointed. However, this was good. Taking the money and not appearing was the best comfort for her. The air surged. Tang Bao's gaze moved away from the computer and saw a tall shadow coming in. "Why are you here?" Tang Bao looked at the time on the computer and understood why Di Haoyin came. "You can wait for me outside. You don't have to come." "Why? Are you afraid of being talked about?" Tang Bao's eyes flashed. Di Haoyin was so thick-skinned. Tang Bao didn't want to be talked about. "They seem to know who you are," Tang Bao said. Di Haoyin raised his eyebrows as if to ask, "Is it related?" Tang Bao knew that his move was superfluous. He stood up and was about to pack his things when the black figure pressed against him. Di Haoyin didn't even move his thin lips and kissed him. Tang Bao was still moving 1 second, but the next second he froze as if his acupoints had been pressed. His heart also seemed to stop for a second. "Let's go." Tang Bao came back to his senses. Di Haoyin's thin lips had already moved away slightly. He turned around with hot cheeks and pursed his lips when his back was facing her phone and briefcase. Just now, it was like a kind of itch that went all the way to his heart. He picked up the briefcase, turned around, and walked out of the office, ignoring Di Haoyin. When he passed by the employees who seemed to be working seriously, their ears pricked up and they kept glancing at him from the corner of their eyes. Tang Bao sighed silently. He pretended not to see. Chapter 952. Usually, she would be in the parking lot. She would also go to the parking lot by herself. Now it was clear as day. She cursed Di Haoyin in her heart and braced herself to get into the car. It was not until she got into the car and the door closed that those people's gazes were cut off. "Did you see it? Did you see it?" The employee said excitedly. "I saw it." President Tang got into the young master's car. And when they came out just now, President Tang actually walked in front of the young master. Does this mean that President Tang is more awesome than the young master? I think the relationship between the two of them must be unusual. Xiao Ding thought silently. "President Tang, I'm trying to distance myself from you, but you're doing it even more obviously. I can't do anything about it." As soon as they got into the car, Di Haoyin carried Tang Bao on his body. "Hey, can't you let me have the maturity of an adult?" Tang Bao sat on Di Haoyin's lap and resisted. "In my heart, you're a minor and you're not heavy." Di Haoyin looked at her deeply with his dark eyes. Tang Bao was speechless. She realized that Di Haoyin carried her much more than he carried the child. When they were in the car, Di Haoyin wouldn't carry the child intimately. Instead, she had the privilege to do so. "I'll sit by the side. Let me down. Don't move. If you get angry, you'll have to take responsibility." Tang Bao's body stiffened. Was he lying? He was angry just like that? She didn't struggle too much, right? But when she instinctively looked in a certain direction, her body stiffened even more. How could this person so easily? "Aren't you too much? Are you blaming me? How can you just sit for a while and do that? I can only say that you're too good." This person really dared to say anything. She just struggled for a while, and it became a problem. Tang Bao sat still, a little discouraged. She felt that she had to find another topic. Otherwise, she was afraid that Di Haoyin wouldn't be able to get down when he got up. "That Xiao Bao's matter has been completely resolved, right? You don't have to worry anymore." "No need." Di Haoyin narrowed his eyes and said, "Did your mother call yesterday to ask about this?" "Yes. I said it was a misunderstanding." Tang Bao nodded. In fact, the stone in his heart had been lifted after Di Haoyin had dealt with Pan Yuehua. "Hubby, since you've solved this problem, shouldn't you reward me tonight?" Tang Bao turned around in a daze and met Di Haoyin's deep and dark eyes. The beastly look in his eyes made her involuntarily retreat. "What do you want now?" "I want to fuck you." You don't seem to fall behind every night, right? More. Was Tang Bao feeling remorseful? Of course. Originally, he wanted to divert Di Hao Yan's attention. How did things end up like this? Wasn't he digging his own grave? We're almost at school. Bowling. Why don't we go to the castle today? Di Hao Yan could tell that she was trying to change the topic again and again, but it didn't matter. It was more interesting to see her unable to escape. Okay, Di Bowling was a little hesitant about going to the castle, but when he saw Tang Bao, he agreed to go. After getting into the car, he sat by the window in distress and said, Tang Bao, you've got me. Di Hao Yan and Tang Bao, I heard that you broke the glass in school today. Di Hao Yan said slowly. Di Bowling froze. Who told you that? Then he looked at the two babies fiercely. Did you tell on me? No, Xiao Bao denied. Bao ignored him and treated his question as air. Di Bowling's intuition told him that they couldn't have told on him. Then it must be the teacher? Can you tell me how many pieces of glass you've broken? Di Bowling, you know a lot. Tang Bao blinked and seemed to be a little confused about the situation. Why don't I know? Did he really break it? He asked Di Hao Yan. Yes. Not only did he break it, but he also warned the teacher not to tell on him. Was it you? Di Hao Yan looked at him sternly without being angry. You've got guts. You even went to warn the teacher. Tang Bao was a little in disbelief. I did warn the teacher. Who asked her to be so nosy? You're still in the right? You're not my daddy. My daddy doesn't care about me. Say that again. Di Hao Yan's gaze became terrifying. Di Bowling's body shrank back involuntarily. Even the two babies felt a sense of horror. Fortunately, Di Bowling was tactful and didn't say anything else. Tang Bao tugged at Di Hao Yan's hand, indicating that he shouldn't scare Di Bowling. Then she pulled Di Bowling to her side. Was it an accident? I think it must be an accident. It's okay. Just be careful next time. I did it on purpose, Di Bowling said. Tang Bao was stunned and then asked, Why did you do it on purpose? It's not good to break the glass. If you hit a child, they'll get hurt. Their daddy and mommy will be heartbroken. It's their fault for provoking me. If they didn't provoke me, I wouldn't have broken the glass. Tang Bao looked at Bao. What happened? Do you know? Yes, Di Bowling was standing there fine. Someone pushed him more than once. Di Bowling hit them and broke the glass, Bao said. Tang Bao thought to herself. Why didn't you say anything? Xiao Bao didn't say anything either. He must have left with his brother. Tang Bao glanced at Di Hao Yan and said to Di Bowling, If they pushed you, you can tell the teacher. I like to solve it myself. I don't want to trouble the teacher. Tang Bao was speechless. Di Hao Yan's expression was cold. You still think you're being reasonable? Don't you dare bully me. I won't accept this. Di Bowling snorted. Di Hao Yan was speechless. Tang Bao couldn't help but laugh when she heard Di Bowling's childish voice and arrogant tone. Noticing Di Hao Yan's gaze, she hurriedly suppressed the smile on her lips. After getting out of the car, Tang Bao pulled Di Hao Yan and asked softly, Tell me honestly, does Bowling resemble you? How is he like me? I wasn't like this when I was young. Yes, you weren't naughty, but you always schemed against others without saying a word. Isn't that so? Who told you that? Di Hao Yan's face darkened. I guessed, Tang Bao said with a smile and left. At night, Tang Bao went back to her room after seeing the three children. The moment she returned to her room, Di Hao Yan pressed her against the wall and kissed her. Don't. It's only 6 o'clock. Otherwise, why would I ask them to go back to their room so early? Don't disturb us. Tang Bao felt that he had used the wrong words. What did he mean by not disturbing us? He should have meant not to disturb him alone. Later, Chapter 9:53. Tang Bao turned his face away slightly and asked suspiciously, Are you sure you want to end it early? Instead of doing it early, you can do it later? Di Hao Yan's dark eyes were smiling. No, hubby means what he says. Be good. No. Di Hao Yan frowned and held her face with one hand. He said in a dissatisfied tone, You're not cooperating at all, but the more you struggle, the more excited hubby becomes. After saying that, he kissed her like a beast. At this moment, Lian's voice came from outside. Young master. Di Haoyan paused, and his face turned cold. What's the matter? Lian was stunned. The young master was definitely angry. He was actually by the door. He composed himself and said, Young Master Bowling is at the big iron gate. Di Haoyan narrowed his dark eyes with a dangerous look. Tang Bao was stunned. Why did Di Bowling go outside? Di Haoyan opened the door and asked condescendingly, What's the matter? Lian looked at the door behind him and said, Lan Wanru is here. Di Haoyan's dark eyes suddenly turned sharp and cold. Tang Bao heard this clearly behind the door. He didn't expect this woman to be so persistent. She ran over again. She must be using the excuse of looking for Di Bowling to enter the castle. Then, Di Bowling saw his aunt coming and went to the big iron gate because Lan Wanru couldn't enter. Tang Bao walked out. It's good that she's here. I want her to come in. Bao. Di Haoyan frowned and looked at her with his sharp eyes. Di Haoyan was nervous about any woman approaching him. He was afraid that Tang Bao would think too much. Although that kind of thing would never happen, he was also nervous when he saw Tang Bao's expression change. Now, this little thing was actually letting Lan Wanru in. Was he torturing him? Tang Bao directly pulled Di Haoyan into the room. It became Tang Bao pressing Di Haoyan against the door. For a moment, Di Haoyan felt hot all over. He looked deeply at Tang Bao. It was like the excitement of a young man who was secretly in love with a goddess. Tang Bao knew what he was thinking the moment he saw the deep look in his eyes. Like I said, she couldn't take the initiative in this kind of thing. Otherwise, there would be nothing left of her. Behave yourself, Tang Bao said angrily. What do you want? Tang Bao's face twitched. Does this guy have to be like this? She pretended not to notice the flirtatious look in his eyes and said, I want to invite Lan Wanru in. Of course, it's not a real invitation. After that, Tang Bao leaned forward and whispered something into Di Haoyan's ear. Lan Wanru was waiting outside the door. Di Bowling said, Wait a little longer. Lian has already gone to inform Di Haoyan. It's okay. Lan Wanru smiled. On the other side, Lian, who had received instructions, walked over and said to Ding Quan, Let Miss Lan in. The big iron door opened slowly. Lan Wanru felt as if there was a door in her heart. The wider it opened, the happier she was. She thought that she wouldn't be allowed in. Was this because of Di Bowling, or was it because Di Haoyan couldn't bear to keep her out? Lan Wanru would rather believe that it was the latter. After entering, Lian said, Miss Lan, wait here first. Okay, Lan Wanru thought. Wait for Di Haoyan? Brother Haoyan wants to see me, right? She was very happy. Lian then said to Di Bowling, Young Master Bowling, go back to your room and sleep first. I'm afraid it won't be good if young Master Di comes down and sees you. Lan Wanru didn't want children around either. Bowling, go to sleep. You still have to go to school tomorrow. Be good. Got it. Di Bowling followed Lian back to his room. Lan Wanru sat in the hall and waited. It would be a lie to say that she wasn't excited. She hadn't been to the castle for a long time. It was Tang Ji's idea to come, not Di Haoyan's. She had asked Di Bowling just now, and Tang Ge was in the castle now. So, what was the reason Di Haoyan wanted to see her? Could it be that his relationship with Tang Ge had deteriorated? Lan Wanru felt that it was a man after all. Maybe Di Haoyan wanted to do something with her to make Tang Ge give up, so that he could drive the man away in anger. But what was Tang Ge doing now? Was he with Di Haoyan? Why wasn't Di Haoyan here yet? Just as Lan Wanru was wondering, the lights in the castle suddenly went out. Lan Wanru was so scared that he stood up abruptly. It was so dark that he couldn't even see his own fingers. He couldn't even see the outline of the castle. It was even more difficult to move. Is anyone there? Lian? Zhongli? Are you there? Why are the lights in the castle off? Lan Wanru asked. Lian? Is anyone there? No one responded to him. It seemed that he could only hear his own echo. Lian? Was there anyone there or not? Brother Haoyan, where are you? Lan Wanru tried to move forward. Brother Haoyan, I'm here. Brother Haoyan. However, no matter how Lan Wanru called out, no one responded. Lan Wanru couldn't see, and after a few steps, he bumped into the side of the sofa. He could only lean against the sofa and didn't dare to move forward. In his hearing, it was unusually quiet. Even the air seemed to be several degrees colder. She was wearing thin clothes, and now that it was so cold, the pores all over her body stood out. It was as if she wasn't in a castle, but in the underworld. Suddenly, there was a faint light in the distance. The light seemed to be seeping out from the walls, and there seemed to be a lot of fog. The fog was getting thicker, and the air was getting colder. Is anyone there? Lan Wanru pressed his hand to his chest, and his voice was trembling with fear. How can there be no one? Am I not a person? Someone walked out of the thick fog, wearing a long dress. It seemed to be white from head to toe, and long black hair covered most of her face. Lan Wanru watched the figure slowly walk toward him. His whole body was numb, and his hands were on the sofa, but he felt like he was going to fall down. Who are you? Don't pretend to be a ghost here. Lan Wanru's voice was shaking. Ghost? How can I be a ghost? Lan Wanru listened to the illusory voice, and why did it sound a little familiar? Where did he hear it? Don't come over. Otherwise, I won't be polite to you. Lan Wanru was really scared. He felt that the air around him was getting colder and colder as the person came closer. It was so cold that it didn't seem like the temperature of the human world. Then the figure really stopped. However, Lan Wanru could still see her clearly. She was white from head to toe, and her long black hair covered most of her face. This atmosphere, this appearance, no matter how one looked, would make one unable to stand up in fear. Lan Wanru, don't tell me you really don't remember me? The woman in white raised her hand and slowly lifted her hair, revealing that deathly pale face. Chapter 954. I died so tragically. Lan Wanru, I'm so lonely here. Can you come and accompany me? No, don't come over. Lan Wanru kept retreating. Tang Bao was laughing in her heart. She tried hard not to lose her cool. Why not? I miss you so much. I've been thinking about you every day. Now that you've finally come to the castle, how can you reject me? Tang Bao stepped forward. As soon as he walked away, his long black hair and clothes were like a ghost. When he walked in front of Lan Wanru saw that his feet were not on the ground. He was floating. Suddenly, he couldn't catch his breath and fainted. Lan Wanru. Tang Bao even kicked him. Lan Wanru was like a dead person. He didn't react at all. She even went forward to check on him. She thought that he was scared to death. The lights in the castle lit up. Di Haoyan walked over from behind. Did you have fun? Tang Bao turned around and reached out to strangle Di Haoyan. The female ghost is here. Are you scared? Di Haoyan took the opportunity to hold her waist. This ghost is really beautiful. Why don't you let me play with you? On the other side, Lian asked the servants to carry Lan Wanru out. Tang Bao looked and said, I think she won't dare to come again in the future, right? She wouldn't dare. Tang Bao glanced at Di Haoyan. Do you think I'm very bad? Di Haoyan's chiseled face came closer, almost touching her. Even if you're unforgivable, you can't escape from me. Tang Bao felt very comfortable when she heard that. She pursed her lips and tried not to show her feelings on her face. At this moment, Di Haoyan picked Tang Bao up. Tang Bao was shocked and instinctively climbed onto his broad shoulders. What are you doing? Continue what we were doing just now. What happened just now? Wasn't it when Lan Wanru came? Tang Bao's face heated up, and a faint blush appeared on his cheeks. Lan Wanru was sent home. Li Yuhuai hurriedly called for a doctor. While the doctor was still examining him, Lan Wanru was so frightened that he screamed, Ah, ghost! 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 Li Yuhuai quickly went forward to comfort her. Wanru! There are no ghosts! No ghosts! Lan Wanru looked at Li Yuhuai with a head full of cold sweat. Auntie? Yes, it's Auntie. What happened to you? Lan Wanru looked around and realized that he was in his own room. Could it be that she just had a dream? When Li Yuhuai saw that Lan Wanru was fine, he waved his hand to the doctor and asked him to leave. Wanru, what happened to you? You just went to the castle. Why are you being carried back here? What the hell is going on? The castle? Lan Wanru came back to his senses. Yes. Didn't you say you were going to the castle? Lan Wanru's face suddenly turned pale again. That was real. It was not a dream. She became frightened again. I went to the castle. Andy, I saw a ghost. There really was a ghost. You silly child. How can there be a ghost in this world? It's real. I saw it. It was the Tang Bao. She came to take my life. Tang Bao. Li Yuhuai was stunned. Isn't the Tang Bao dead? But I saw her in the castle. She was wearing white clothes, had such long hair, and her face was ghastly pale. Most importantly, her feet were in the air. If she wasn't a ghost, then what was she? Lan Wanru was so frightened that she cried. Tears fell from her eyes due to fear. Li Yuhuai's hair stood on end after hearing Lan Wanru's words. However, Lan Wanru's emotions were unstable now. It was not good for her to say anything that would make her feel more afraid and suspicious. After calming Lan Wanru down, Li Yuhuai walked out of the room. After leaving the room, she saw Di Junbai standing in front of the railing of the stairs. She walked over and said, Wanru has suffered quite a shock. I heard from the doctor just now. What exactly happened? Di Junbai asked. Wanru said she saw the Tang Bao in the castle. But hasn't the Tang Bao been dead for many years? Could it be that there's really a ghost? Di Junbai's black eyes were slightly stunned. Then, there was a hint of a smile in the depths of his eyes. Wanru isn't the kind of person who spouts nonsense. She must have seen something to be like this. I think it must be Di Haoyan's doing. He's deliberately scaring Wanru. It's not like I can't tell that he doesn't have any feelings for Wanru at all. Wanru is also a stubborn person who insists on liking him. This won't do. I have to find a suitable man for Wanru. Then, we can get married and have children. It's better to stop her from thinking about it. Anyway, even if Di Haoyan changed his mind and wanted to marry Lan Wanru now, she would not agree. That kind of man was too scary. Lan Wanru would not be able to handle him at all. In the end, he might even harm their family. She would not forget the hatred of her husband's murder. Then, she said to Di Junbai, You're Wanru's biological brother. You have to help her find a suitable man. Wanru's body is a little weaker than others, but she has no other problems. Getting married and having children is not a difficult thing. Wanru will definitely not be willing, but you young people should be easier to communicate with. Anyway, I don't want her to have anything to do with Di Haoyan anymore. Got it. I'll find a time to tell her. Okay. Li Yuhuai sighed and returned to her room. Di Junbai glanced in the direction of Lan Wanru's room and turned to leave. Lan Wanru, who had slept, was not very energetic. She kept thinking about the ghost of the Tang Bao in the castle. She felt that if this was not real, then the face she saw was definitely that of the Tang Bao. Therefore, Lan Wanru was still hiding in her room in fear. She was not willing to go out of the room and even had to be brought in to eat. Li Yuhuai was almost going to invite a monk to recite scriptures to calm her soul. The sound of knocking on the door was enough to make Lan Wanru pale with fright. She was afraid that the Tang Bao would come to take her life. She could not die. She could not die yet. She had not been together with Di Haoyan yet. How could she die like this? Why did she have to die? If she died, wouldn't she have lost? Moreover, she had lost to the ghost of the Tang Bao. Di Junbai went in and saw Lan Wanru curled up in the corner of the bed, looking at the door defensively. He looked at the sunlight outside the window and walked over. Wanru, brother. Lan Wanru looked at the person who came in. It was not the ghost of the Tang Bao, but Di Junbai. The fear in her heart slowly dissipated. Do you believe it? I saw the ghost of the Tang Bao. I heard from Annie. She didn't want me to go to the castle. She was afraid that I would snatch Brother Haoyan away. But she's already dead. Don't you know that humans and ghosts walk different paths? Why are you still so entangled in her death? Do you really believe that there are ghosts in this world? Di Junbai asked. Lan Wanru looked at Di Junbai in a daze. What do you mean? Chapter 955. She watched them leave, but she still stood there. She really wanted to ask Daddy and Mommy if she had been carried back from outside. Was she really that person's daughter? If not, why did everyone say that? Xiao Bao. Bao came looking for her. Why are you? Just as he was about to speak, he saw the tears on Xiaobao's face. He couldn't help but feel anxious. Xiaobao, what's wrong? He then looked at the guard with a sharp gaze. The guard immediately waved his hand. It has nothing to do with me. Xiaobao, big brother, did I carry you here? Xiaobao looked at Erbao. There were tears on her face, and her eyes were filled with tears. Her little mouth was pouting as she asked. Of course not. If you were carried here, then wasn't I carried here too? We're twins. Have you forgotten what Daddy told you? You're Mommy's child. But everyone says that I'm not Mommy's child. I don't know who to believe. Just now, there was a man who said that he was my father. Even D. Bowling's aunt said the same thing. Xiaobao cried extremely sadly. Erbao had never seen Xiaobao cry like this before. His heart ached terribly. I want to find Mommy. I want to go home. Xiaobao cried softly and lost control. When Di Haotian and Tang Bao came, Xiaobao was already crying so hard that she couldn't catch her breath. It was obvious that she hadn't stopped crying. No one tried to persuade her. She was usually the most obedient brother, but now it was useless. Erbao stood at the side and held Xiaobao's hand tightly. He was anxious but didn't know what to say. D. Bowling sat there with a gloomy expression. He didn't know if he was happy or unhappy. In any case, Xiaobao's endless crying gave him a headache. However, he didn't want her to cry herself silly. He couldn't bear it. Xiaobao, Tang Bao called out to her. Mommy? Xiaobao looked at Di Haotian and Tang Bao, then threw her head into Tang Bao's arms. Mommy, Mommy, it's fine. Mommy is here. Mommy is here. It's fine. Mommy can't abandon me. I'm Mommy's child. Xiaobao hugged Tang Bao's neck tightly and cried loudly. It could be seen that she was quite frightened. No, how could Mommy not want Xiaobao? Mommy loves Xiaobao the most. Of course he's Mommy's child. Tang Bao hugged her soft little body. Her heart clenched. Di Haotian stood behind her, his face cold and intimidating. As soon as he heard what Xiaobao said, he knew what the problem was. His face was terrifyingly cold. On the other side, Lan Wanru brought Chun Fugue to sit down in the coffee shop. Chun Fugue was a real country bumpkin who had entered the city for the first time. He couldn't help but be extremely curious and amazed at the sofa under his butt. Lan Wanru especially looked down on this kind of country bumpkin. If it weren't for Di Haotian, she wouldn't have had any contact with this kind of person. It was simply lowering her status. You city people really know how to enjoy yourself, Chun Fugue exclaimed. Actually, with so much money given to you, you can completely change your current life if you use your brain. Why didn't I use my brain? Did I take that money to gamble just to lose? Of course I want to win more. That way, I can change my family's life. Lan Wanru had never seen such a stupid and shameless man. Talking to him was an insult to her IQ. Is gambling something accurate? You're not the god of gamblers. It turns out that your thoughts are wrong. How about this? You give me more money, and I'll start thinking of other ways and stop gambling. Chun Fugue reached out his hand again, as if he was being shameless. Lan Wanru sneered. Mr. Chun, you seem to promise me like this every time, right? What happened in the end? Do you think I'll believe you again? Chun Fugue's face was twisted with anger, and then he laughed. What's your relationship with the D family? I'm very curious. The person in charge of the D family. I'll marry him in the future. Lan Wanru raised her chin, just to prove that her words were the truth. So that's how it is. I knew it. If it was a normal family, how could they do this? Since you want to marry him so much, you're not even willing to give him some money. You don't seem to be sincere enough. But my sincerity can't be fed to a dog. Who are you calling a dog? Chun Fugue slammed the table. He slammed the table loudly, and the guests at the other tables frowned and looked over. They thought to themselves, where did this uncultured person come from? But what kind of person was Chun Fugue? He was shameless and uncultured. He wouldn't even care about the life and death of his own family, let alone others. Mr. Chun, saying that you're a dog is an insult to dogs. You should go look in the mirror and see what kind of trash you are. You're the trash in the trash can. It's disgusting. Lan Wanru didn't give him any face at all. Her words were as ugly as they were unpleasant to hear. I think you're shameless. Chun Fugui stood up and slapped Lan Wanru's face. Lan Wanru was directly knocked to the ground by this big and burly man. When the driver over there saw the situation, he immediately came over. Chun Fugui pulled Lan Wanru up from the ground and pinched her neck. "Come over here, and I'll strangle her to death." When the driver saw this man's character, he was really afraid that he would strangle her, so he didn't dare to go forward. When the owner of the coffee shop and the customer saw this scene, they were instantly shocked. What the hell? A kidnapping in a coffee shop? This was the first time in his few years of opening the shop. Chun Fugui laughed. "Are you afraid? Let me tell you, Chun Fugui, am not afraid of the heavens or the earth. If anyone dares to provoke me, they will be making things difficult for themselves." In this situation, it was obvious that Chun Fugui had the upper hand. There was no other way. He had a life in his hands. Who would dare to go forward? "Let's talk it out. What do you want?" the driver asked anxiously. "What do I want? Of course I want money. Give me a few $1,000,000, and I'll let her go." It had to be said that not only was Chun Fugui arrogant, but he was also uncultured and illiterate. Just like that, he kidnapped people and asked for money. There were surveillance cameras everywhere. There was no witness or material evidence, but it could be seen clearly from the surveillance cameras. However, for Chun Fugui, he only had the money in his eyes and heart. It could definitely make him disregard his own family and friends. At that moment, there was a commotion outside. The aura was so strong that it could be felt dozens of miles away. The black car and the other bodyguards' cars majestically stopped in front of the coffee shop, which was usually not very popular. The boss was shocked. His coffee shop had never been so lively before. Could it be that it would be crowded in the future? The glass door was pushed open first. The bodyguards in black clothes and pants stood on both sides of the door. The tall figure in the middle walked in. The atmosphere in the coffee shop suddenly changed. It was turbulent and fierce, oppressive and terrified. The man who came in was noble, but he exuded a strong sense of coldness. It was a kind of terrifying chill that could freeze 3 feet of ice for a second. Chapter 956. "I want to know how much money the D family gave you," Lan Wanru asked. Seeing Pan Yuehua hesitate, he explained, "Don't worry, I'm not here to ask you for money. I'm here to give you money." Pan Yuehua was stunned. "Why are you giving me money? As long as you tell me the truth, I'll give you money." There was no one in this world who didn't like money, let alone a peasant woman. However, Pan Yuehua also knew that people shouldn't be greedy. However, looking at her husband, she felt that the money the D family gave her would be spent sooner or later. "What truth do you want to know? You want to look for your daughter and found the D family. I want to know, is the girl in the D family really your biological daughter?" "She's my biological daughter. I think, if not, the D family wouldn't have made this deal with you." Lan Wanru didn't doubt Pan Yuehua's words. "But I want to know, why did you look for Tangge?" "I don't mind telling you. Tangge has nothing to do with the D family." She was angry when the outside world said that Tangge and Di Haoyan were family. "I thought Tangge was the one who took the child away, so I looked for him." Lan Wanru's expression didn't look too good. It was obvious that he was confused. "I can tell you, that man called Tangge used his body to get to where he is. The child's real father is from the D family. You're already very lucky to be able to come back here with money after offending the D family." "I know." Lan Wanru gave the man behind him a look. The man immediately placed a card on the table. "There's 1,000,000 yuan in here. Consider it my final compensation to you on behalf of the D family. I hope you won't appear again in the future. I think you know your place." Pan Yuehua was shocked. There was so much money, and he only asked her a few questions. Before she could think of what to say, Pan Yuehua's husband rushed in and grabbed the card on the table. His eyes were filled with greed. "This is mine. You've already taken the money from before. You can't touch this money. I need it for the children's school." Pan Yuehua went up to snatch it. It was really a mess. However, this wasn't something that Lan Wanru should care about. She had already asked what she wanted to know, so she turned around and couldn't wait to leave this moldy place. When they returned to the car, Lan Wanru had other doubts, but Pan Yuehua didn't know about them. For example, Tang Bao was indeed pregnant with twins. There must be 2 children. Then, if the girl was really Pan Yuehua's biological daughter, where did the other child go? If she could think of this key point, Di Hao Yin must know it too. Lan Wanru felt that something was amiss. But no matter what the problem was, it was only in the aspect of children. If Di Hao Yin continued to spend his time on this matter, would he still have time to spend on Tango? After Lan Wanru thought of his plan, the corners of his mouth curled up in a happy smile. It was as if the tiredness of her long journey had disappeared. Tang Bao was picking out things for Xiao Bao in the toy store. Xiao Bao said that if someone gave her a flying chess set, she had to give them something in return. In the afternoon, she went to meet the screenwriter and bought something for her from the toy store on the way back. Just as she was choosing, Di Haoyin called. When Tang Bao saw that it was Di Haoyin calling, he sighed. He didn't need to answer the call to know why he was calling. Have you been eating until now? Nope. I'm picking out a gift for Xiao Bao in the toy store. Isn't she going to give it to her classmate? I've already asked someone to pick it out for her. When? Tang Bao was surprised. This morning. All right then, I'll come back now. After Tang Bao hung up the phone and walked out of the toy store, she bumped into the person she didn't want to see the most, Lan Wanru. When Lan Wanru saw her, he smiled and said, "What a coincidence to see you here." Coincidence? Tang Bao looked at her suspiciously and said, "These are all children's toys. Are you sure they're suitable for you?" "Why wouldn't they be suitable? I have children at home too," Lan Wanru said calmly. Tang Bao's expression froze for a moment. The children Lan Wanru was referring to were bowling. I wanted to come yesterday, but I really didn't feel well. I went to the castle a few days ago and got a scare. However, I think it was all because someone was jealous. I don't mind. Tanga, don't you think so? Lan Wanru looked at Tang Bao meaningfully. I don't know about that. Tang Bao didn't want to talk to Lan Wanru anymore. He walked past her and prepared to leave. All right, you should know about the interview that I saw some time ago about Pan Yuehua looking for her daughter, right? Tang Bao stopped in his tracks, but he didn't turn around. I don't think it's a groundless rumor, right? Tangu, you've been in the castle every day. Haven't you noticed anything wrong? Tangu turned around and looked at her with a cold expression. What are you trying to say? Actually, it's fine if I don't say anything. It has nothing to do with you anyway. I just think it's funny that the 2 children call you mommy. Lan Wanru turned around and went into the toy store. Tang Bao stood there in a daze for a while before returning to the car. Pan Yuehua's interview was very clear, and her Weibo post had been removed. Why did Lan Wanru say that? Groundless rumor? What rumor had she heard? In Ivy kindergarten, Xiao Bao wanted to pee, but when she saw Bao playing with the other children, she didn't call him and went to the washroom by herself. Ever since she started studying in school, Xiao Bao always dragged Bao to the washroom with her. Then she went to the female washroom and Bao went to the male washroom. That way, she wouldn't be afraid. But now, she felt that she should go by herself. After entering the female washroom, she pulled up her pants, arranged her skirt, and went to the sink to wash her hands. Someone came out of the cubicle. It was an older sister who was taller than her by a head. Xiao Bao had only seen people similar to her in kindergarten. Aside from the fact that the teacher was an adult, she had never seen an older sister like her. She couldn't help but look at her strangely. "You're Di Yunxi, right?" the older sister asked. "Yes. My name is Di Yunxi. How did you know?" "I don't know you, but I know you. I also know your daddy and mommy." Oh, Di Yunxi's eyes turned. He didn't know how to talk to her. "Also, I know that your mommy didn't give birth to you. In other words, you're not Di Haoyin's biological daughter." "What?" Di Yunxi looked at her, not quite understanding. "I also heard from others that you were picked up from the streets." Xiao Bao's little face turned red with anger. "Of course not. I wasn't adopted. Mommy gave birth to me. Why would I lie to you? If you don't believe me, you can go back and ask your mommy. I'm just telling you out of kindness. I'm afraid that you'll be deceived." Chapter 9:57. She recalled that some time ago, Xiaohua had told her that her mother had picked her up from the trash. Another child had also said that her mother had told her that she was a free gift when she recharged her phone. In that case, was she also a free gift when she recharged her phone? Xiao Bao. Xiao Bao looked up and saw her Bao. She immediately smiled and said, "Big brother, why didn't you call me when you went to the washroom? The teacher said that we should do our own things." Xiao Bao recalled what her mother had told her and asked her brother, "Big brother, did the two of us come out of mommy's stomach together?" "Yes." "Could it be that we were picked up from the trash? Or were we picked up from the trash? I'm a little scared that we were picked up from the trash." "It's not hygienic," Xiao Bao said with concern. This question persisted until Di Haoyan and Tang Bao came to pick them up. As soon as they got into the car, Xiao Bao threw herself into Tang Bao's arms and asked pitifully, "Mommy, did you give birth to Big Brother and me?" Tang Bao's head was dizzy from the shock. She looked nervously at Di Haoyan, her heart beating unsteadily. "Mommy? That. I definitely gave birth to you. Why do you ask?" Tang Bao tried hard to maintain her composure. Xiao Bao was shocked and covered her chest with her two little hands. "I thought we were picked up from the trash, like Xiao Hua." Tang Bao was speechless. She finally understood why Xiao Bao had suddenly asked such a question. It must have been one of the topics of conversation among the children in the garden. Actually, she was too mischievous when she was young. Her mother had said that she was picked up from the trash. At that time, she had been depressed for a long time. Later on, she had forgotten that she was picked up from the trash. But was Tang Bao not nervous and humble? Of course not. When Xiao Bao asked that question, her heart had jumped to her throat. Even if it was a joke, she didn't want to hear it. "Don't ask such things again in the future. Mommy gave birth to you, okay?" Di Haoyan said sternly to Xiao Bao. Xiao Bao immediately nodded obediently. "Got it, Daddy." Tang Bao looked at Di Haoyan and knew his intentions. When he met Di Haoyan's deep, dark eyes, he could not help but feel as if his emotions were being drowned by waves. It was as if his nervous heart had also relaxed. When they were in the room that night, Tang Bao said, "Thank you for what you did in the car." Di Haoyan approached her through the window. "I'm not satisfied with your words." Tang Bao blushed. "Don't be like that. I'm serious. Do you think your husband is not serious now?" Di Haoyan pressed his entire body against Tang Bao, trapping her between him and the floor-to-ceiling window. He was so domineering that she had nowhere to run. Tang Bao really did not know how serious he was. "You're talking too close to me." "How close?" "We didn't kiss." Di Haoyan's nose was pressed against Tang Bao's nose. His voice was so low that it was almost hoarse. Tang Bao felt that her heart was beating faster now that they were not kissing. Just when she felt that she was about to suffocate, Di Haoyan spoke in his usual low voice. "Why should I thank you? She's our daughter. I'm doing my duty as a father. Is someone trying to instill bad thoughts into my daughter's head? Should I pretend that I didn't hear it?" When Di Haoyan said this, his dark eyes froze for a moment. There seemed to be a sharp glint in them. Tang Bao noticed the change in his expression. "What's wrong?" "Nothing. But your expression just now." Di Haoyan kissed her and said in a rough voice, "Now you know what my expression means." Tang Bao was bitten so hard that she could not exert any strength and could not speak. "Let's go and take a shower." Di Haoyan's voice deepened, and he lifted her up by the waist. Tang Bao was caught off guard. She put her hands on his broad shoulders. It's nothing." Tang Bao originally wanted to find all kinds of reasons not to take a shower with him. But after thinking about it, she gave up struggling. Even if she struggled, it would be useless. In the end, she would still be forced by Di Haoyan. She should have gotten used to it long ago. Hence, she lowered her blushing face and was carried into the bathroom by Di Haoyan. Of course, the shower was not a simple one. The kiss was also not a simple one. It was indescribable, and it was really gentle to the bone. Anyway, when they came out, Tang Bao was carried out. Her whole body was limp in Di Haoyan's arms and embrace. She had already fallen asleep. When she was placed on the bed, she did not show any signs of waking up. Di Haoyan kissed her red and swollen lips. He did not get on the bed. Instead, He pulled the blanket over Tang Bao's body. Then, he turned around to put on his underwear and nightgown. After putting them on, he left the room. In Xiao Bao's room, Zhongli was reading a story to her. When she saw Di Haoyan walk in, she was surprised and frightened and quickly stood up. "Young master." "Daddy." Xiao Bao sat up from the bed. "Go out first," Di Haoyan ordered. "Yes." Zhongli put down the book and went out. Although she was wondering why the young master would come to Xiao Bao's room at this time, she did not think too much about it. Perhaps he had something to tell Xiao Bao. But what was it? Was the story good? Yes, it was so good that it made me want to sleep. Xiao Bao smiled. Di Haoyan looked at her. She was not Tang Bao's child, but she was brought up by Tang Bao. He could always see the shadow of Tang Bao in Xiao Bao. His feelings were definitely not as deep as Tang Bao's. To Tang Bao, Xiao Bao was her daughter. If her daughter was separated from her, she would be in pain, and Di Haoyan would definitely not let her suffer. "Daddy, where's Mommy?" Xiao Bao asked. "Mommy is already asleep. Mommy is so obedient." Di Haoyan patted her little head and said, "Daddy is asking you. You have to tell me the truth. Did anyone say anything to you in school today? Something about whether Mommy gave birth to you or not?" Xiao Bao thought for a moment. "Yes. Who said it?" Di Haoyan's dark eyes were cold. "A big sister," Xiao Bao said honestly. "But I don't know her. What did she say?" Xiao Bao thought for a moment and said with a scrunched up little face, "Big sister said that Mommy brought me here from somewhere else. She also said that she knew Daddy and Mommy." "Daddy, I don't believe what she said. Daddy said that Mommy gave birth to me, so I'm Mommy's child. I'm not picked up from the garbage. That's the right way to think." Xiao Bao did very well. Xiao Bao was very happy to be praised. Di Haoyan walked out of Xiao Bao's room and called for He Ju. "Go and check the surveillance footage of Xiao Bao interacting with the older girl in school today. I want the answer tomorrow." "Yes." He Ju went to check it out. Ever since Di Bowling's kidnapping incident, Di Haoyan had ordered that the surveillance cameras in the Ivy League schools be installed with a large number of surveillance cameras, especially the kindergartens. There was no such thing as a blind spot. As long as there was such a person, he would definitely be able to see it. Chapter 958. "Hello, who is this?" "Hello, I'm Lan Wanru." Lan Wanru cooperated with her and said. Tang Bao was slightly stunned and his face turned cold. "How did you know my phone number?" "You wouldn't believe me if I said that Brother Haoyan gave it to you, would you?" "That's what I checked." "What's so strange about me checking your number?" "Don't even think about hanging up. I have good news for you. If you don't listen, you'll regret it." "Then let me see if I'll regret it." Tang Bao hung up the phone after saying that. She couldn't be bothered to listen to Lan Wanru's bewitching behavior. After thinking about it, she blocked Lan Wanru's phone number. Although she knew in her heart that this might not be Lan Wanru's phone number, she still blocked it one by one. She might wonder what Lan Wanru wanted to say to her, and guess what kind of things she would say, but she knew better that every word the enemy said was sincerely for her. A car stopped not far from the studio. Lan Wanru was sitting inside. Lan Wanru called Tang Bao again and found that he couldn't get through, so he returned the phone to the driver in front. This naturally wasn't her phone number. From the call to Tang Bao just now, he couldn't tell if she was happy or unhappy. She was the one who did the kindergarten thing and did it very secretly. However, she also failed. The child was too young and didn't know anything. She forgot what she said. She had neglected this point. However, she wouldn't give up so easily. She had to kick this man out. He didn't deserve to stay in the castle. It was an insult to everyone and everything. "You asked around before and said that Tengu sends flowers to the young emperor every 2 to 3 days?" "Yes." Lan Wanru had a calculative smile on his lips and said, "Let's go. Take me to buy a bouquet of roses." Di Haoyan came out of the conference room and went straight back to his office. The dignified and cold lines of his face softened when he saw the fresh roses in the vase in the office. There was a deep fluctuation in his black eyes. She walked forward and caressed the bright red petals, as if she was caressing Tang Bao's seductive lips. The secretary walked in. "Young master, where is Tang Gu?" It wasn't Tang Gu who sent the flowers. They were sent by the receptionist downstairs. Di Hao Ian did not pay attention to the surveillance cameras. Could it be that Tang Bao had gone out? His face instantly darkened. Why didn't she tell him when she went out? Di Hao Ian took out his mobile phone and called Tang Bao. The secretary behind him saw this and went out. Where is he? The corner of Tang Bao's mouth twitched. She had just stepped out when a call came in. Do you have to keep an eye on me like this? I have no freedom at all. It's not like this is the first day you've known me. Di Hao Ian was unbelievably overbearing. There was no sign of repentance at all. Where is it? Haven't I settled Chengju and Mengshi? I haven't even gone to the apartment to see them. Let's go and see them. Don't say that they are more important than you. In my heart, no one can compare to you. Tang Bao immediately added. This sentence made Di Hao Ian's tough heart very happy. His gaze fell on the bright and glistening roses. I'll wait for you to come back. Okay, give me a kiss. You don't want to, right? Tang Bao glanced at the driver in front. The driver had already been replaced by the one Di Hao Ian had arranged for her. Why not? Hurry up and kiss me, or I'll ask the driver to drive the car back. Hey, you changed the driver for me. Is this what you did? Tang Bao was angry, but helpless. I'll call the driver. Okay. I'll kiss you. Tang Bao was really *king embarrassed as she kissed the phone. But if she didn't kiss him, she knew that Di Hao Ian was a man of his word. He would definitely ask the driver to drive the car back. Seriously, she didn't even have the power to order a driver. Bao, it smells so good. Tang Bao quickly hung up the phone and instinctively looked at the driver in front. Fortunately, the driver didn't seem to hear anything and focused on driving. But Tang Bao felt that his face was about to burn. When the secretary went in, she saw the young master sprinkling water on the roses in a good mood with a watering can. His expression was so focused that it was as if it was more precious than a multi-billion-dollar business deal. He carefully cared for it, as if he was protecting someone. Tang Bao received a call from Meng Shi in Chengju's apartment. He was so excited that he shouted, "Why didn't you tell me in advance that you were going to the apartment? You can't come back now? I remember that you don't have any scenes today." Tang Bao felt strange. "I'll go to the studio to look for you." Tang Bao looked at Chengju. "You're going to look for me without Chengju? She's a third wheel. Why would I bring her along?" Tang Bao rolled his eyes in his heart. "I didn't think it through. I should have called you in advance. You could come back in time. Let's have dinner together. I'll be there soon." After Tang Bao hung up the phone, he asked Chengju, "Aren't you curious about what Mengshi said?" "What else can he say? What do you think of Mengshi's people?" Chengju thought for a moment and couldn't help but frown. Childish. Tang Bao didn't spit out the water he drank. His expression was very calm. She wanted to matchmake these two people. However, Chengju didn't seem to sense her intentions at all. Did this mean that she and she were simply like brothers? After Chengju sat down, she wanted to say something but hesitated. "What's wrong? If you have something to say, just say it. You don't have to worry in front of me. Are you willing to marry that man?" "About that, of course. Is it surprising that I like men?" Chengju nodded a little embarrassedly. "In my heart, you're also the kind of person who wants to be strong. I really didn't expect." Tang Bao was thinking that in front of Di Hao Ian, she was weak. Chengju looked at Tang Bao, who looked like he was deep in thought, and asked, "Brother Tang, are you the one downstairs?" This time, Tang Bao almost choked on the water in his mouth. It wasn't easy for him to hold it back. "Why are you asking this? Don't you think about this when you're together?" "Ahem, let nature take its course." If Chengju hadn't asked in a serious manner and understood her personality, she would have really thought that Chengju was playing hooligan with her. "Brother Tang, no matter what others think, I wish you all the best. I hope that you'll be happy for the rest of your life. And the two babies." Tang Bao smiled gently at her. "Thank you." At this moment, the door was pushed open without warning, and Meng Shi rushed in. When he saw Tang Gu inside, his eyes lit up and he walked towards the living room. Chengju frowned. "How did you get in?" "I walked in. Didn't you see?" "I meant, how did you know the password on my door?" Chapter 959. Chengju was furious. Did this person think that this was his apartment? Tango looked at Meng Shi. Don't always bully her. When did I bully her? Tango, you're speaking up for her. You're biased. Meng Shi accused. I'll help whoever is in the right. Even if you remember the password, you can't do this. This is respecting other people's privacy. F***CK. If you weren't here, would I have come in? Even if she invited me, I would have to think about it for 3 days and 3 nights. Meng Shi leaned against the sofa, crossing his left leg and right leg as he boasted shamelessly. Chengju was so angry that she didn't want to argue anymore. In the face of Meng Shi's shamelessness, she should remain calm. Come to my place and sit. Meng Shi moved closer to Tang Bao. We're going to eat, so I won't. It's the same at your place as it is here. What's the difference? It's completely different. To me, both of you are my flesh and blood. Tango, can't you be a little biased towards me? You can even be so biased. Tang Bao looked at him and said expressionlessly, I'm married. He gestured for him to sit further away. Meng Shi's thoughts were exposed. Like a punctured rubber ball, he shrank back dejectedly. There's also divorce when you're married. Are you expecting me to get a divorce? Tang Bao's face darkened. She didn't like hearing that. Meng Shi touched his nose and shrank back. He looked very indignant and said, Actually, I'm not gay. Me liking you has nothing to do with you being gay. Liking you is my instinct. You can't stop it anyway. Tang Bao face-bombed. Why did it feel like she was bullying Meng Shi? Should she still be burdened with guilt? She was thinking too much. Don't pretend to be pitiful. It doesn't suit you. Let's go and eat. Meng Shi shouted at Tang Bao, who was walking towards the door. I'm pitiful to begin with. Tang Bao raised his eyebrows, looked back at him, and asked, I want to ask you, if your first love appeared, who would you choose? Me or him? I'll give you 3 seconds to answer. 1, 2, 3. You can't answer, right? Since that's the case, let's eat. After that, Tang Bao turned around and walked out of the door. Meng Shi was left standing there in a daze, not knowing how to react. It was as if the question had caught him off guard. I don't need any decorations in my house. Can you move? I'm going to lock the door. Chengju looked at him without much sympathy and said. Meng Shi clenched his fists so tightly that his knuckles cracked. After walking out of the door, he was still thinking about that problem. He seemed to be in a dilemma. If his first love came out, which one should he choose? Now he liked Tango. Was it because she looked like his first love, or because of that person? During the meal, Tang Bao saw that Meng Shi was a little quiet and didn't eat much. Tang Bao said, Don't worry, these dishes are all low-fat dishes. You won't get fat. Do you think I'm thinking about that? I'm thinking, if my first love appears, which one would I choose? Tang Bao was speechless. I just don't know where my first love is now. Will she still appear? What if she appears and we're together? You're being irresponsible to me. Tang Bao interrupted him. Besides, there's no such possibility. I'm married. Meng Shi's face darkened. Can you stop mentioning that you're married? That's the truth. Meng Shi looked very aggrieved. He was like a pitiful baby as he glared at Tang Bao. Tang Bao raised his eyebrows and continued eating. The phone in his bag rang. It was a text message, but Tang Bao didn't want to look at it, because if he didn't look, he wouldn't know who it was. After a while, it rang again. It rang 4 or 5 times in a row. Chengju looked at Tang Bao. She didn't say anything or remind him, because it was impossible for Tang Bao not to hear it. However, Meng Shi didn't have such good eyesight. Your phone rang a few times. Aren't you going to look at it? It's a text message. It shouldn't be anything urgent. If it's urgent, he'll call me directly. Tang Bao smiled. Just as he finished speaking, his phone rang. Tang Bao was slightly stunned. Could it be that there was really something urgent? She took out her phone. As expected, the caller was Di Hao Ian. She stood up and walked out of the private room to answer the call. What's up? You haven't finished eating yet. I've just started eating. Di Hao Ian's expression was very ugly. With him as the center, the atmosphere around him was tense. Don't rush me. I'll go back after I finish eating. Tang Bao hung up the phone and returned to the private room. Meng Shi glanced at Tang Bao. That man called you? Yes. The veins on Meng Shi's forehead were about to burst. I want to eat meat. High-fat dishes. I also want to eat desserts. Sure. Tang Bao agreed immediately. Meng Shi was puzzled. Aren't you very concerned about the figure of your artistes? Why did you allow it? She thought of something and her eyes lit up. Are you feeling sorry for me? If you have a few extra pounds, I'll let you lose it when the time comes, Tang Bao said unhurriedly. Meng Shi's facial nerves twitched. How ruthless. Do you still want to eat? If you want to eat, I'll order it for you now, Tang Bao asked kindly. No, eat, eat. You're really hard to please, Tang Bao complained. Meng Shi, Chengju held back her laughter. When it came to serving, Tang Bao thought of someone who was even harder to please, Di Hao Yin. Once the aura around him became gloomy, it was quite scary. She could feel his anger on the phone. It was as if she delayed any longer, he would fly into a rage and put her in danger. Therefore, after eating, Tang Bao went to his usual flower shop on the way back and personally chose roses. Mr. Tang, you're here again? The lady boss greeted him politely. Yes, the roses were just delivered this morning. They're very fresh. Okay, tie a bouquet for me. Tang Bao looked at the roses. They were indeed very beautiful. The fragrance of the flowers was light and sweet. He was not disappointed every time he came by them. Although they were not as valuable as the roses in the castle, compared to other flower shops, this one was the best. It was as if they had just been picked fresh from the ground. The lady boss helped him tie the bouquet and said with a smile, Mr. Tang is really romantic. Your wife is really happy. You often buy flowers. I've run a flower shop for so many years, but I've never seen a husband like you who insists on sending flowers. It's okay. Tang Bao smiled perfunctorily. She did not know whether Di Hao Yin was happy or not. She only knew that sending flowers could make Di Hao Yin not angry. It worked every time. How many children do you have, Mr. Tang? 2. Wow, you're so happy. Thank you. Chapter 960. After Tang Bao bought the flowers, she got into the car and went straight to tea. Every time she delivered flowers, she would drive the car into the parking lot and take the elevator directly. She didn't want to pass by her own studio. If it was in the past, they would definitely suspect that she was in a relationship with a girl in tea. Now, ever since they found out that the person who came to look for her was the young master of tea, they had even more gossip to gossip about. She even sent flowers to the young master. Tang Bao couldn't bear the gaze of the employees who returned to the studio late. Just take it that she was thin-skinned. The elevator door opened. Tang Bao was about to enter when she was stunned. Di Junbai walked out with his usual gentle and elegant expression on his face. He looked at her with an unexpected and appropriate smile. You're here. If it wasn't for Di Bowling, she really didn't want to have any interaction with Di Junbai. However, her son was still with him, so she had to do some superficial things. She nodded. Yes. Then, they walked into the elevator. When the elevator door was about to close, Di Junbai reached out to block the door with a hint of unfamiliar toughness. Tang Bao frowned slightly and looked at Di Junbai's expression. It didn't seem to have changed much. What's the matter? Di Junbai's gaze fell on the dazzling roses in Tang Bao's hand. With a hint of curiosity, he asked, Weren't you the one who sent the roses into the young master's office just now? What? Maybe I saw wrongly. That was a woman, not you. Di Junbai smiled faintly and let go of his hand to let the elevator door close. After the door closed, the red numbers on the elevator jumped up. Tang Bao's thoughts kept jumping. What did Di Junbai mean by what he said just now? Was he deliberately trying to sow discord between her and Di Hao Yin? What was the point of this? A lie was a lie after all. If he said it, he would still be exposed. He would only lower his dignity by doing this. Tang Bao was very disdainful. He stood in front of Di Hao Yin's office and knocked on the door. Speaking of which, it was strange. She had never had the awareness to enter someone else's office without knocking on the door. However, things were different in Di Hao Yin's office. Perhaps it was because of the atmosphere here. Therefore, he had no choice but to be cautious. The effect of Di Hao Ian's majestic aura was everywhere. Enter. A low and intimidating voice rang out. Tang Bao pushed the door open and went in. He saw Di Hao Ian sitting on a black chair with his legs crossed. His aura was powerful, even though he was not angry. His expression was gloomy and dangerous. However, when Tang Bao's gaze fell on the fresh roses in the vase, the smile on his face suddenly froze and then disappeared. Di Junbai's words rang in her mind. In other words, a woman sent Di Hao Ian flowers, and Di Hao Ian actually accepted them and put them in the vase? When Di Hao Ian saw the roses in Tang Bao's hand, he immediately felt that something was wrong. His expression immediately darkened. Tang Bao did not say anything and turned to leave. Bao! Di Hao Ian hurriedly stood up. Tang Bao pretended not to hear him. He walked out of the office and strode away. Just a few steps out of the door, Tang Bao saw that Di Hao Ian was about to chase after him. He was so angry that he directly threw the roses in his hand at him. Di Hao Ian reached out and caught it accurately. His other hand grabbed Tang Bao's waist. Let me explain. Explain my ass. Let go of me. Tang Bao was furious. T's employees saw this scene and could not help but stop in their tracks. The young master was angry because of love. The way he forced his lover was really domineering. Di Hao Ian's dark eyes swept over them. The people who stopped in their tracks were so frightened that they disappeared in a second. Let go. Tang Bao struggled. Let's talk in the office. Di Hao Ian forcefully carried Tang Bao into the office. We're in the office now. Can you let go of me? Tang Bao asked angrily. Not only did Di Hao Ian not let go, but he also carefully placed the roses on the desk and pressed a phone call to ask the secretary to come in. The secretary was so scared that his heart was about to burst on the spot. What's wrong with the young master? After entering the office, the secretary stood there in fear and trepidation. He looked at the atmosphere in the office and did not dare to move. Who sent the flowers in the vase? The florist sent them. Go and check. Yes. Throw the flowers away. Di Hao Ian's cold and intimidating voice made the secretary's legs go weak. He went forward and took the flowers out of the vase. He walked much faster than usual, afraid that he would sweep the tail of the storm. He thought to himself, did the young master misunderstand something? When the flowers were sent, the young master had a protective expression. Thinking about it, the secretary's little heart trembled even more. He hoped that Tang Gu could appease the young master who was like a tyrant at this moment. Otherwise, he would be on tenterhooks all day at work. Aren't you going to let go? Tang Bao was angry. You'll find out. There's no need to find out. Let me see. Tang Bao was angry. Bao, I thought the flowers were from you. Otherwise, do you think I would have the guts to accept the flowers and put them in the office? Didn't a woman send you flowers? Tang Bao questioned. It doesn't matter. You can accept them if you want. I'll take my flowers away and get someone else to send them to you in the future. Tang Bao was about to take the roses she bought on the desk. Di Hao Ian directly pressed her down on the sofa. Tang Bao lay on the sofa with Di Hao Ian above her. Go away. I'm not leaving. Then let me go. Don't even think about leaving. What do you want? Tang Bao was so angry that her face turned red. I'm innocent. Tang Bao was stunned by Di Hao Ian's pitiful tone. F***CK. Why did she feel that Di Hao Ian was very cute now? She must be blind. Di Hao Ian was a devil. Cute and whatnot definitely didn't suit him. I didn't accept anyone else's flowers. I only like flowers from you. You see, my body only reacts when I see you, Di Hao Ian said and even rubbed against her. Tang Bao's head dropped and her whole body stiffened. She couldn't understand how Di Hao Ian could react when the two of them were still angry and quarreling. She was so dumbfounded that she forgot what she wanted to say. Then Di Hao Ian bent down. His face was only a few millimeters away from Tang Bao's face. If he got any closer, their faces would be touching. If I find out who that person is, she's dead. Why didn't you send the flowers to someone else? Why did you have to send them to you? Don't think that I'll believe you just because you say a few nice words. Also, get off of me quickly. Tang Bao's body suddenly trembled. Her small face was red and she was angry out of humiliation. Don't poke. Poke, not poke. Tang Bao lay on her back in despair. She felt that she couldn't communicate with Di Hao Yin anymore. Chapter 961. Di Hao Yin looked like he was holding a gun to her head. No, to be more precise, it was a cannon. There was a knock on the office door. Tang Bao quickly wanted to get up, but Di Hao Yin pressed down on her shoulder. She couldn't move. Come in. The secretary walked in and tried her best to ignore the domineering posture on the sofa. Young master, I went to check, but I couldn't find anything. The floor said that he only received a note and money and said that he would send it here. He left it at the front desk and left. Di Hao Yin's face was extremely gloomy. He raised his dark eyes, and the strong pressure made the secretary immediately leave. She didn't dare to stay for even a moment. When she went to check just now, there were rumors that the young master and the boss of the studio next door were going to fight. Such a message couldn't exist, so she stopped it when she heard it. What else do you have to say now? Tang Bao calmed down and asked. Di Hao Yin's face was tense as he said in a low and sinister voice, I just want to make you believe me now. Tang Bao was dumbfounded. Was this even something a human would say? It was his fault, but she had to bear it? How could Di Hao Yin not be angry? When she thought of how he watered and cared for the bouquet of flowers that wasn't sent by Tang Bao, she felt as disgusted as seeing someone eat a fly. Get up. Tang Bao used all her strength to push Di Hao Yin away. However, Di Hao Yin wasn't someone she could push away with her strength. Even an adult man couldn't do it, let alone her. Di Hao Yin? Ugh. Tang Bao's angry little mouth was swallowed, and she couldn't say a word. Only the struggling sounds in her throat could be heard. Di Hao Yin's strength was simply unbearable. It was as if every particle in the air was driven by him. Tang Bao struggled at the beginning, but she didn't move in the end. It wasn't that she had compromised, but that there wasn't enough oxygen in her brain, and the strength in her body had been exhausted. All that was left was to be kissed. After a long time, Di Hao Yin finally let go of the Tang Bao. Tang Bao was gasping for air. Her watery eyes were misty and filled with a mesmerizing beauty. Di Hao Yin was completely mesmerized by her. His slender fingers caressed the corners of his red lips, just like a wild beast toying with its little prey. You? Tang Bao gradually regained his senses and returned to normal. You've gone too far. Just because I'm in contact with the opposite sex outside, you can be all kinds of domineering. Don't tell me that when other women give you flowers, the one who gets punished is me? Who said it was you? Didn't you kiss me? Tang Bao was displeased. I'm the one who's working like a horse. Di Hao Yin smiled dotingly. His dark eyes seemed to want to devour her. What if another man sends me flowers in the future? After Tang Bao finished asking, he saw that the smile on Di Hao Yin's face was still there, but the smile in his eyes was gone. Once there was no smile in those dark eyes, they would become terrifying. If someone sends you flowers, I'll chop off that man's hand and make you unable to get out of bed for a month. How about it? If you're not satisfied, I could do better. Di Hao Yin's so-called better was just more cruel. The word cruel was written in his eyes. Tang Bao felt a chill run up his body. You're a tyrant. Who asked me to be a businessman? Di Hao Yin hooked his arm around her chin like a king looking down on the world, not giving her any chance to move. Moreover, I'm your husband, so I have the right to occupy any part of you, both physically and mentally. If others covet you, they're courting death. Tang Bao looked at Di Hao Yin gloomily. This man was just being possessive. There was nothing wrong with him. Do you think I can't tell whether others covet me or not? I'll keep a distance from others. Don't treat every member of the opposite sex who gets close to me as a bad guy. Why'd he talk about her? Didn't the conflict start with the woman who sent the flowers, Di Hao Yin? Who asked you to be so innocent and cute? Who's innocent? Before Tang Bao could finish her words, Di Hao Yin pressed his face against hers again. She was so scared that she instinctively shut her mouth. Don't talk. Let me kiss you. Di Hao Yin was like a wolf. His dark eyes shone with a green light when he saw his prey. You've already kissed me, Tang Bao shouted nervously. The kiss is different now. What? What's different? Di Haotian's thin lips curled into a devilish smile. Di Haotian, don't mess around. This is your office. MMPH. Tang Bao's lips were still swollen when they were devoured again. Her wrists were held above her head by Di Haotian's big hands. At this moment, Tang Bao looked like she was being slaughtered. Di Haotian, MMPH. Tang Bao panted uncontrollably. Bao, you're so sweet. I can't get enough of kissing you. In the end, Tang Bao's physical strength was exhausted, and his entire body was swallowed up by Di Haotian. Anyway, all the employees who were close to Di Haotian's office knew that. After Tang Ge went in, she never came out. Even after they got off work, they did not see anyone coming in or out of the office. When Tang Bao woke up, Di Haotian was not on the bed. When she walked out of the lounge, she saw Di Haotian concentrating on fiddling with the bouquet of roses she bought and putting them into a vase. Come here. I bought you something to eat. Di Haotian heard her and looked at her. It's almost time to go back for dinner. What's there to eat? Although Tang Bao said that, she still moved to the sofa. This was definitely caused by overexertion. She felt that her whole stomach was empty. The food he bought were all her favorite snacks. Tang Bao sat there and ate. When she looked up, she saw Di Haotian staring at her. It made her feel a little uncomfortable. With food in her mouth, she asked, "What are you looking at?" "Looking at my wife." Tang Bao's eyes flickered and her face was still a little red. She should eat her own food and pretend that Di Haotian did not exist. However, Di Haotian was born with an aura. Even if he did not speak or look at her, he still made people feel oppressed, let alone stare at her. She did not know what was there to look at. They had known each other for so many years. Tang Bao was eating with her head lowered. When the corner of her mouth touched, she trembled. The sofa beside her sank slightly. Di Haotian's tall figure had already sat down. Tang Bao tried her best to ignore the strong presence beside her and ate her own food. "Someone sent roses today. That's how I found out that you went out. Otherwise, you wouldn't have asked someone to send them over." Tang Bao's chewing stopped and slowed down. "I was wrong. If you were the one who sent them, you would have sent them over personally." Tang Bao lowered her gaze slightly. She thought that Di Haotian knew that she had gone out because he looked at the surveillance camera. Therefore, he knew that she had gone out because he saw the roses. The caress by her ear made Tang Bao's body move a little to the side. "It tickles. You're so sensitive." Chapter 962. You can try. Tang Bao's gaze could not help but fall on Di Haotian's earlobe. She wondered if Di Haotian was asking her to try. Was he ticklish or not? Forget it. She'd better not touch it. What if Di Haotian was ticklish and she touched it? Would things get out of hand again? She had no doubts about Di Haotian's bestial nature. "No, I want to eat." Tang Bao held the food and took a bite. Before she could take 3 bites, the food in her hands was taken away. Tang Bao stared at her. "Why did you take it away?" "I want to have dinner when I go back." "Then why did you let me have some snacks?" "Snacks are for you to fill your stomach. You can't be full. You have to be nutritious." Tang Bao felt that she really had no human rights in front of Di Haotian. Who could understand the pain of having her food taken away when she was enjoying it? Hence, when Di Haotian was not paying attention, she wanted to take the snacks from the coffee table. However, her movements were not as fast as Di Haotian. He took all the snacks away. Tang Bao wanted to bite someone. In Di Haotian's eyes, Tang Bao was like a pitiful little beast baring its fangs and letting out a weak cry. She was so cute. Hence, his bestial nature was triggered, and he pounced on her. Di Haotian. As for the roses, Tang Bao was very curious about the woman who sent the roses. Although she could not find anything, it did not mean that there was no such person. Who could it be? Not to mention T, even in her studio, there were people who admired Di Haotian and liked Di Haotian. After all, he was the king of D City. Who would not want to be associated with him? Hence, using her brain to guess was like looking for a needle in a haystack. However, she thought of what Di Junbai said. He said that he saw a woman sending flowers to Di Haotian, but didn't the secretary say that the flowers were only sent to the front desk? Di Junbai must have thought that the woman at the front desk was the one who sent the flowers to Di Hao Ian. He had really made a mistake in his judgment. The next day, not long after Tang Bao entered the studio, she received a call from an unknown number. It was different from the previous call. Hello, Tang Gu. Do you want to know who sent the flowers to Brother Hao Ian? Since you've already said so, how could I not know? Didn't Brother Hao Ian tell you? Lan Wanru asked proudly. She was proud of herself. Tang Bao pursed her lips. You're trying to say that he knew who gave it to him, but didn't tell me, right? But you two are you? Lan Wanru was furious. What did you say? The flowers are from you, I believe. But that. You don't even know that he's in a bad mood when he thinks that I didn't send the flowers. But you're also cunning. He didn't find out. Don't say that Di Hao Qian did it on purpose for me. I think, if you don't have a guilty conscience, why are you afraid of being investigated? I know that you called me because you think that I won't tell him because you'll deny it. Isn't that right? Tang Bao said calmly, as if he didn't care about the tricks that Lan Wanru played behind her back. Is that important? The important thing is, didn't you quarrel with him because of this? I heard that you and Brother Hao Ian quarreled this afternoon. Quarrel? Do you know what a quarrel is? We're just using a small quarrel to increase our relationship. Since you asked around, why didn't you ask around more carefully? For example, I didn't come out of Di Hao Ian's office the whole afternoon. If we really quarreled, would that be the case? Tang Bao asked. I still have to thank you for the flowers. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have known that Di Hao Ian loves me so much other than Tang Bao. Lan Wanru was so angry that he was about to stop breathing. Don't be too proud. You're just a man. It's against the rules to be with Brother Hao Ian. You can't win against a woman. I'll make you regret your arrogance today. Am I arrogant? Am I arrogant? You're the one who called to provoke me, right? Lan Wanru, let me give you a piece of advice. Stay where you are and don't keep finding trouble with me. When the time comes, I'll laugh at you if you end up in a miserable state. Laugh? Let me give you a piece of advice too. The one who has the last laugh is the winner. Lan Wanru said and hung up the phone. Tang Bao looked at the phone screen and sneered. She wouldn't tell Di Hao Ian about this. As long as she said it, Di Hao Ian would definitely believe her. However, Lan Wanru would also deny it. It was meaningless to think about it. However, Tang Bao thought that Lan Wanru would be well-behaved after the previous incident. He didn't expect things to get worse. Could it be that the Tang Bao she thought she saw was Tang Ge in disguise? At that time, Lan Wanru had fainted. However, it was hard to say if she didn't figure out the problem after she woke up. Last time, she spoke in a sarcastic tone. This kind of person was really like a lingering spirit. Lan Wanru had suffered a loss at the Tang Bao. One could imagine the unwillingness in his heart. She had to continue to do something about Xiao Bao. For example, she had to make things worse. The current calm and tranquility was not what she wanted. Sometimes, Lan Wanru was very good at grasping human nature. For example, Xiao Bao's biological father, Chun Fugue, who liked to gamble. Lan Wanru decided to give Chun Fugue a sum of money every few days for him to gamble. After giving him about a month, she stopped. She didn't give him a single cent. Even if he threatened her, she wouldn't give it to him. Chun Fugue was the kind of person who was especially greedy. Without money, he was anxious like an ant on a hot pan. Therefore, not only did he lose all the money in his card, but he also owed a lot of gambling debts. He decided to go to D City to find a way to get money. Why? He wanted her daughter. Couldn't she give him some money to spend? That money was no longer enough for him. Chun Fugue found out which school his daughter was studying at from Panyuwa. When he arrived at the school gate, he saw such a good school before he even entered. He couldn't help but exclaim, "How much money would it cost to study here? It's simply a waste. It's better for me to gamble," Chun Fugue said regretfully. At this moment, he saw parents coming early to pick up their children. He went forward and looked at the car. He almost touched it with his hand. The car window rolled down. The woman inside asked, "What are you doing?" Chun Fugue smiled and asked, "Your child is studying here too? What's the matter?" The woman looked at his mischievous smile and asked defensively, "No, my daughter is also studying here." Her name is Di Yunxi. What? The woman sneered. Are you kidding me? Di Yunxi is my daughter's classmate. She's from the D family. She has nothing to do with you, right? The woman still wanted her daughter to get closer to Di Yunxi and climb up the D family social ladder. The future could be imagined. Chapter 963. The woman did watch it. It was a show about children, and she was quite interested in it. But it didn't mention the D family. It only involved a certain figure in the entertainment industry. Pan Yuehua is my wife, and she's looking for Di Yunxi. It's because this rich man from the D family stole my daughter. He even wanted to bribe me with money, but I didn't agree, Chun Fugue said shamelessly. The woman looked at him doubtfully. She didn't know if he was telling the truth. It didn't matter if she didn't believe him. Chun Fugue turned and ran to tell others. He told them one by one. If he said too much, someone would believe him. Then, the rumors spread to the school. While they were playing games, a child pointed at Xiao Bao and said, "You're not your mother's child. You were adopted." Xiao Bao was unhappy. "No, I asked my mommy, and my daddy also said that my mommy gave birth to me. Your daddy and mommy must have lied to you. I also heard my daddy and mommy say that Di Yunxi is someone else's child. I also heard my daddy and mommy say that. No, so many people said that about her." Xiao Bao lowered her voice and looked at those people pitifully. Bao immediately stood up. "If you say anything more, I won't be polite to you." The children were afraid of Bao, so they stopped talking. But Di Bowling was a man of action. Without a word, he stepped forward and kicked one of the boys in the face. That boy was instantly kicked until he cried out in pain. The teacher, who was on the phone, heard the commotion and ran over in shock. "What happened? What happened?" "Di Bowling kicked my face. Wah wah wah. I'm going to tell my daddy wah 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 wah." Then, one of the boys started crying. Those who were scared by Bao also started crying. Instantly, the sound of crying filled the air. The teacher saw that half of the boy's face was red and swollen. It was a headache, but she didn't dare to do anything to Di Bowling. That little ancestor wasn't someone to be trifled with. He was from the D family, and he was like a little devil. Just as the teacher was at her wit's end, "If you cry again, I'll kick you again," Di Bowling roared threateningly. Then, the leading boy was scared stiff. He didn't dare to cry and could only sob silently. The others didn't dare to cry either. They all had pitiful expressions on their faces. "Teacher." It was much more effective than her speaking. At this moment, it was as quiet as it could be. After lunch, Xiao Bao walked out of the classroom and heard the teacher talking to a classmate's mother. Really? Was Di Yunxi really not a child of the D family? It shouldn't be, right? She and Di Fei Han are twins. How could this be wrong? The teacher said in shock and disbelief. The man said that there were 2 children, but one of them was taken away by someone else, and the other child was taken back from the orphanage. This child is Di Yunxi. Who is that man? He said that he's Di Yunxi's biological father. From what I can see, Di Yunxi really does resemble that man. The D family is really strange. Why would they be willing to take someone else's child? That man looks like he's from an extremely poor family. If he wasn't extremely poor, he wouldn't sell his own daughter. Sold it? Didn't they say that she was in the orphanage? At first, she was sold. Then, I don't know how she ended up in the orphanage. How can there be such a father in this world? Even a vicious tiger won't eat its cubs. Xiao Bao's face was downcast and sad. Although she was young, it didn't mean that she couldn't understand what they were saying. They were saying that she was someone else's child. How could she be someone else's child? Mommy gave birth to her. That man must be loitering around the school gate again, the parents said. When Xiao Bao heard this, she turned around and ran towards the school gate. She ran to the school gate, but the gate was definitely closed. The children wouldn't be let out. Through the iron gate, Xiao Bao looked outside. Was there really such a person here? She felt that there definitely wasn't. It must be a lie. Little friend, what are you doing here? The guard saw her and walked over. I want to go out for a while, Xiao Bao said in a soft voice. The guard smiled. What's your name? My name is Di Yunxi. Chun Fugue who was loitering outside the school gate, heard this familiar name and immediately leaned over. Little friend Di Yunxi, the school has a rule that you can't go out unless your parents can pick you up. The guard gently said to her, "You're Di Yunxi? You're my precious daughter?" Chen Fugue leaned against the iron gate and looked at Di Yunxi with golden eyes. When Di Yunxi saw this person, she was so scared that she couldn't help but take a few steps back. She looked at him defensively. "Who are you?" "Me? I'm your biological father. Daddy really regrets selling you, but Daddy was kind and wanted you to live with a rich family. Look, you're wearing a skirt and leather shoes now. These are things that your sisters can't get. You should thank me." Chun Fugue shamelessly said such words to a 3-year-old child. Xiao Bao didn't listen to what he said after that. She only heard him say that she was sold. Then, was this person really her biological father? I don't believe it. You're not. Xiao Bao denied. How can I not be? If I wasn't, why would I come and find you? Why don't I go find someone else? If you don't believe me, you can go and ask your current parents. They lost their child, and they took you back. It's really... Chun Fugue was talking enthusiastically when he was interrupted by the person behind him. "Mr. Chun, I didn't expect you to come here. Aren't you afraid that you'll scare your daughter?" Xiao Bao looked over. It was someone she knew, Dee Bowling's aunt. Why did she also say that she was this person's daughter? She wasn't. Chun Fugue was stunned and turned around. When he saw the person, he laughed. "So it's you. I was wondering who it was. Why? Are you here to give me money? Do you know that I have no money to spend? Mr. Chun, you should stop gambling. If you keep gambling like this, even if I have mountains of gold and silver, it won't be enough for you," Lan Wanru said coldly. "Don't exaggerate. Mountains of gold and silver? How much have I lost? But since those people know that I have money, they don't dare to look down on me anymore. So I can't be poor. I have to be rich. Do you understand? Since you're here, give me some money to spend. Once I get the money, I'll leave now." Chun Fugue shamelessly reached out to Lan Wanru. Lan Wanru looked at the disgusting hand in front of him and said, "Why don't we find a place to sit down and talk?" Then he walked to Xiao Bao and said gently, "Don't be afraid. I'll protect you." You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.